So, as I said, the members of our illustrious traveling party solving the problems of the people of Groudar decided in the last time we met to make their way from Fort Harrington to the City of 1,000 Steps, the Tabaxi capital, at the behest of the Stalwart Keepers, who requested your aid, given that they had some difficulties getting their stuff together and were running behind because of these grung attacks, which you had stopped. As such, you were offered compensation for your services and sent along your way. Star sort of set off ahead of the group, marking the way, being the fastest one to sort of navigate this pass. You made your way weeks to the south, journeying through the rough terrain of Groudar before encountering or having a strange encounter with a solar eclipse that, after a few days of travel, sort of burned overhead. At that moment, all of you at the same time experienced the same sort of mass hallucination, seeing a vision of a city that sitting on top of a mountain in the center of Groudar, being destroyed in fire and brimstone, and then this vision ending, all of you sort of collectively experiencing this at the same time. Deciding that was definitely weird, you nevertheless continued going, keeping a lookout or being mindful of any similar occurrences. After a few more weeks of travel, you eventually came upon a pit in the center of the forest, in a clump of trees filled with bones. Some of them seem to be belonging to people of varying ages, but mostly children, from what you were able to determine. At the same moment, you heard a shout for help and rushed off through the forest to aid a Tabaxi woman who seemed to be being attacked by a clutch of tree people, which we are now referring to as treeple. You fought off, destroying these animated trees, saving the Tabaxi woman who introduced herself as Orchid, told you that she was a traveler from the City of 1,000 Steps, collecting and sort of gathering supplies in the area. You agreed to help her, and you made camp for the evening. However, halfway through the night, as Lilibet took her watch, she was set upon by this individual who appeared to be more than she seemed, and sort of, as her disguise seemed to fade a bit, she vanished from sight, disappearing into the jungle. At the same time, a strange tree-like creature, similar to what you saw before, but more human-like, carrying a shield and mace, stepped out of the trees, helping you to defeat Orchid, or the person introducing themselves as Orchid, and then inviting you to join them, or accompany them to a place called the Meadow. You made your way there, this sanctuary for tree entities, natural folk within this basin, and it was there that you met the sort of leader of this colony, a towering treant named Uridal, the Sentinel of the Northern Pass. Uridal offered you sanctuary as long as you repaid the slight transgression that you had committed against his people in the slaughtering of, or the killing of, a couple of the animated trees, which seemed to be members of the community. Offered you, or asked you to take care of this Oni, as he identified this creature that you learned Orchid to be. Asked you to seek her out, destroy her, and make the Farcomer's Pass safe to travel once again. As you settle down for the evening, that is where we ended our session, so that is where we will pick up today, as all of you are resting in whatever area of this clearing that you wish, settling down for a long night's rest. Eventually, the sun crests overhead. You all wake to the bright sunlight entering in through this clearing, the tree folk, these animated plants, meandering their way to and from as they have the day before. What would you like to do?
I have a note here that apparently Sidel needs to make another roll to see what the tune she was humming, the Oni was humming, to see if he remembers what it was. Okay.
Good note.
Thank you for writing that down, because I had completely forgotten, just like I said I would.
You can, if that's what you want to spend your morning doing, Sidel, sort of meditating on that, trying to figure out what that is, what the song was.
Yeah, just because I figured my mom was an elf, so maybe I might know that tune if it was of elven background.
Okay. Make me a history check.
$13.
13. Okay, so you settle down for in the morning as you're come out of your sleep, as you're messing with your gun, cleaning it, getting yourself ready for whatever the day might have in store. You meditate on that song, and it definitely it sounds familiar to you the more you hum it to yourself. Sort of like a lullaby, a nursery rhyme that you might have heard at some point, but you don't remember the words. It does sort of strike you as something you might have heard in your childhood, though.
Okay.
So about that bush.
What about it?
Did I ever track down that bush?
You attempted to befriend the creature, the animated shrub, during the evening. However, it has, after when you went to rest, it went off to do its own way. So if you want to try to find another animated shrub to befriend, you can certainly try.
Okay. Is there like a shrubbery of them somewhere?
Bring her a shrubbery.
There are clusters of them. It actually, as you sort of observe the actions and the nature of these tree folk, you see that many of them are tasked in sort of cleaning out this clearing. You see some of them actually like weeding areas, allowing the flowers to grow, tending to this massive garden that spreads throughout this meadow here. But there are dozens of them around. They're not necessarily like all clumped together, but you see little ones sort of tending to the garden.
Okay. I would like to go to where like the biggest cluster of these shrubs are, and I would like to attempt to entertain them, lull them with my music.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and make a performance check then.
Okay. 11? Or do I have advantage on that?
You don't have advantage on it.
Okay, so 11.
11. You begin to play to these creatures, but your music typically is it's more of an acquired taste. It's a little harsher, kind of more rock and roll. These creatures are a little bit more country, and they don't seem to enjoy it quite as much. You actually have a small little shrub there that after a few notes on your guitar as you approach, actively recoils from the music and kind of scatters off through the plants and makes its way away from you. And most of them seem to be avoiding you while you're playing. It's a little jarring to their sensibilities.
Oh man, so clearly I need to befriend a rock then.
You could certainly try if you find an animated rock to befriend, or there are plenty of rocks on the ground. You could find a pet rock if you wish.
Oh my gosh.
Might get awkward if you branch into heavy metal.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's your experience that morning trying to befriend the shrubs.
In a fantasy setting, you might be able to find some bluegrass.
I'm gonna need you to stop. Like, just kind of like reel it in, just a smidge.
I know we've been gone for a week and everything, but 1d4 pun damage, please.
Yes.
So, Sean, it took
So,
us.
Sarah?
It took us a couple hours following our triple friend to get here.
Yes.
Do we have any sense of which direction we went? I know Lil was looking out for stars markings and we stopped seeing them. So basically I'm trying to get a gauge of where the heck are we?
Okay. You, when you were moving through the forest, you were generally following sort of a like a southeastern trajectory. As you sort of reach the end of the pass, you were just at the edge of this basin here when you had this encounter with Orchid and all of that, and there was this large sort of lake beneath you at the bottom of this basin. When you followed the or tree friend, or Sap, as he's been introduced to you, you veered off more directly south from there. So a little bit off track from the direction that Star was leading you, but not too far. As far as like how many miles it was you traveled, it probably took you about 3 hours or so, if I remember right. So, a few miles.
Okay. And we have Sap is going to kind of help us find the Oni, right? That's what I remember, sort of.
Yeah, the tree ant, Urudal, told you that he would send Sap with you to help locate it if you wished.
Okay. That's right. Thank you. It's been 2 weeks, so.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Anybody else doing anything?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. As you wake and begin to get everything together, and Sadel, Barb doing their own things, that you sort of all gather back up, you do see after a little bit, there's some movement towards the brush to the northern side of the eastern side of the meadow, and another kind of the trees part and open up, the vines sort of stretching away, making an opening. You see a few small sort of tree folk, these animated trees, push their way through, and accompanying them is a white-furred catfolk, Tabaxi, who's looking rather confused. It is Star.
I run up and I just start going it's really you, right? You're Star, right?
Last I checked, I was definitely me.
Okay, tell me something that Star would know about Lil that nobody else would know. Or, well, yeah.
You put grung venom in a bottle of wine.
Yay, it's Star, okay.
Unless the
why-
creature could read your thoughts and then pull that out of your thoughts, and then, never mind, it's Star.
Lucius, this is not helping.
I'm sorry with everything that happened. It's just something that, it's Star. We're going to believe it's Star until he turns on us and stabs us in the back like that.
But I was just carving another star in this tree for you guys to follow. You're way behind, by the way, and slightly off track. But then all of a sudden, these things come and pull me away.
We had an incident.
Sado made some friends.
He did.
We met what we thought was another Tabaxi. Apparently it's not. Apparently it's this thing called an Oni, and it stabbed me in the back and almost killed me.
And I can't check to see if I've heard of an Oni before.
Yeah, you can do that.
20 total.
20, nice. It does strike you as familiar. It's nothing you've heard anybody encountering before. It's a seem pretty rare creature, but from what you know, they are vicious, sort of giant folk, but twisted and dark, having some touched by some amount of dark magic. You know that they attack people at night, and they're sort of fabled around here as like sort of a bedtime story, told to young Tabaxi children, and to not stray out too far into the woods after dark.
Oh, you mean one of the jungle's darkness? I didn't think they were real.
Oh, they are very, very real, my friend. And we're going to kill one in a horrible, horrible fashion.
I turn around and I'm like, this is what they do. This is not fun, and they are very real. But we made friends.
That looks painful. Yeah.
Well, friends. We did kill a few of them.
But they understood. They seemed okay with us.
I don't know if they're okay with it. We have to repay this debt, but they understand that we did not know what was going on.
Sadell
they
talked
didn't-
to them.
Yeah.
You can talk to trees. So,
Who in the world can talk to trees other than Sadell? No one.
so
But,
smart. He's so smart.
Speaking, Lucius turns to Sadell. Speaking of which, where did you even learn how to speak to trees?
Well, it's not really that I was speaking to trees, but they understood Elven, and it's pretty close to their language.
All right. You could have just been like,
So-
I read it in a book, and I'd have completely gone with it. But that's fine.
Speaking of Elven, actually, would you mind being able to teach me the Elven language as we travel together?
Sure, I've never taught anybody before, but I could certainly try.
Given what we've encountered and where some of my interests lie, it may be a good learning experience. I can probably try to teach you Null in return if you'd like.
Yeah, I'd enjoy that a lot.
Well, should we go and try and deal with this Oni? Because I know I want some revenge.
Is
What
that?
is sap? Oh, I'm completely sorry then. Continue.
It's fine. Is that what we're doing? We're killing her, right? I just want to
I
make
know
sure
I
we're all on
am.
the same page. I mean, I'm going with Lil to kill her.
I'm down.
She dies, not
Right.
Lil the thing.
Yeah, not Lil.
Thanks
We're
for
gonna-
clearing that up.
We're gonna keep Lil.
For now.
No, forever.
Forever.
I got my eye on you, Lucius.
So, I mean, can we track her? Or do we... I mean, I know we want to kill her. I just don't know how we're gonna find her.
Pretty sure that's what sap is for.
Oh, right. I forgot about Sap.
Sap sort of as you're all
He's kind of a stick in the mud.
Sap looks to you when you say that with a look of offense on his face. Not understanding the language, but understanding the insult.
Alright.
He's fine.
Well,
So,
I'll follow you guys. Just tell me what to hit. I hit it.
Okay, Sidel, can you and Sap communicate well enough?
I'll turn to Sab and be like, and because this is the same one that I spoke to, and we were able to like
Semi-communicate.
semi-communicate.
Did I tell you what language he was speaking last time?
You probably did.
Did I? Savannah's nodding like I did.
well, I mean,
Wrote it
I
down.
wrote it down in parentheses with a question mark because I think I thought I knew, but I don't know if you did or not.
You would recognize the language that he's speaking, Sadel, as Sylvan.
Sylvan.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's one of the reasons you're able to understand a bit what he's saying.
Okay. Yeah, I remember you telling me that. Yeah, I can communicate relatively well. It'll be enough that we can get along just fine.
Okay, well, I'm itching for a fight. I don't know about the rest of you, but let's go find this stupid orchid. Not okay person.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose. Okay, let's go.
Okay.
Barb,
Yes.
we're getting ready to go. Did you have your shrub friend?
My shrub friend is not a friend.
Well, maybe you just need to work on it a little bit more.
I need to learn country music, apparently.
Which country? Like these countries' music?
I don't know. Maybe something with a little more twang. I don't really do these twang things well. It's more kind of like, da-da-da sort of thing.
Well, maybe Star can teach you a song of his people.
I mean, maybe.
We have a journey ahead of us. Maybe you can ask. Do you have your oat cakes?
I have probably at least 9.
Then you are set for the journey ahead. Let's go.
I just need a bag full of oatcakes, please.
Doesn't she actually have a bag full of oat?
The bag of holding is
Yeah, I
full
was
of
about
Full
to
of
say.
oat.
Yeah,
Really? Okay.
Filled up the bag of holding with
Alright.
oatcakes.
All right, so never mind. Yeah, I've got so many oatcakes. We're good.
All right. So you, as you gather yourselves together and begin shoving oatcakes frantically into your mouth, you all look towards Sap, I guess, to lead you to where the Oni's sort of lair might be. Okay. You look to Sap, and the tree person kind of looks over to you, Sadel, for some sort of guidance, as if you're ready to go, and sort of gives a hesitant shrug in your direction.
I give him a thumbs up,
Okay.
hoping that that's not offensive.
He immediately strikes you. No, the kind of looks at you for a second, and you see the hand that has the current, like, or the arm that has the shield growing out of it begin to retract back into this appendage, back into its normal appendage, and then a single sort of vine sticks up, mimicking yours. He retracts and goes back to the shield, and Sap turns around and begins to wander, sort of skip in front of you in this strange tree stride that he does through the meadow in the direction to the sort of southeast.
I will follow along.
Same.
Okay. As you make it to the edge of the meadow, it parts before you again, and Sap leads the way out of there. The large curtain or canopy of tree bark and vines pulls shut behind you, closing you off from the meadow behind. You follow Sap for probably the better part of 2 hours or so. The sun beginning to rise overhead through the canopy, though you're shaded pretty well within the dense foliage of the forest or the jungle. You find the ground or the terrain sloping down around you. Zado.
Just on this trip, I want to talk with Sap and kind of like see if we can figure out, just easier ways to communicate, and like trying to bridge that gap in between the Elven and Sylvan language.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. For those 2 hours, you have a better chance to, because Sylvan is something you've probably heard or seen little bits of. You might have a relative that has a medallion or some sort of amulet, might have a little bit of Sylvan on it. It's something that the elves use sparingly, based on their history and their lineage being something that was spoken many centuries ago amongst your people. So you have a little bit of understanding with it. And during this travel with Sap, you're able to find some words that have common roots between them and get some similarities there. Just basic things like ground, sky, move, stop, things like that. You can give basic sort of directions, pointing at ways to go. And he seems to speak with you. The more you interact with Sap, you do notice that there is, as friendly and sort of lighthearted and innocent as this creature seems, it definitely has a purpose, and it seems very dedicated to what it's doing, almost militant in its atmosphere, attitude. That moves, and everything it does has a purpose. There isn't a lot of sort of unnecessary or frivolity to its behaviors. But it does communicate with you, and you get a basic understanding of a little more of its language.
Cool.
So as you make your way down this slope further into the basin, eventually some of the trees part before you, and you can see probably about a mile up ahead, the edge of this lake. You see rivers jutting off to the east, south, and back to the north in direction you came from through Farcomer's Pass. It's a beautiful sort of crystal lake that sits quietly, just sort of gentle waves cresting in the mid-afternoon or early afternoon breezes. Sap stops there for a moment and points out in the direction, extending his vine-like hand, pointing towards the edge of the lake. And it's at the edge of that lake that you see what looks to be a small village. Sap sort of points to it, and in the language and this communication that you have, Sap says, there.
That's where the Oni is?
Sap nods.
How big is this village?
It looks to be, from what you can tell, it's pretty far off. There may be a dozen small huts. You can vaguely, like I said, it's about a mile or two up ahead, and you can see small shapes moving near the edge of the lake. You see some fishing boats out on the lake itself. It looks to be a little community, and Star, you recognize the sort of the structure of it. It looks like a Tabaxi village.
It's definitely a Tabaxi village. It's can we see any sort of people or any signs of life from the village?
Yeah, I mean, you see some small shapes making their way or moving among the buildings, and then you see 2 boats out on the lake, fishing vessels, it looks like, with people on them.
I had to approach slowly and cautiously. Give me a chance to talk to the people first. If they don't know about any common language, or if outsiders even visiting the country, they may turn hostile.
And I was just assuming at this point that we had described Orchid to Star and stuff like that, just so where if it looks like maybe she's hiding in this village or something like that, that we're sort of clear on that's the specific person we're looking for.
Yeah. I assume that you would have caught him up and informed him on what was going on during your travels.
One other thing quickly before we head into the village. Star has been trying to study Sylvan. Would it be possible for him to take notes on any words he got a definite translation for as we were traveling the past couple of hours?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to kind of work with Sadel and kind of, I guess, observe this interaction between the two of them, and Sadel translating Sylvan to Elven, then Elven to Common, and sort of helping you that way. So yeah, you guys can help each other out. There is also like a root connection or a similarity between Tabaxi and Elven and Sylvan. They use the same alphabet, and there's a lot of similarities in the language, so you sort of have a little bit of a connection there. It's like 1 degree of separation away from Elven.
Okay.
So, you begin to approach the village at the edge of the lake, making your way down. After probably about half a mile, Sap stops and sort of motions and communicates to you again, Sado, and says, "Stay," pointing to itself.
Well, I'd hate to leave you all alone.
The sap kind of shakes its head and points back towards the direction you came from and points to itself, sort of motioning that it needs to return. But sort of you get this air of it's questioning, making sure that's okay, that you don't need it.
Yeah, unless someone else thinks that we could use sap, but I feel like it would be a bit dangerous for him.
He's an oddity, and more rumors about his kind of people would be strange. Living tree stories are very rare and end quite weirdly. I'll have to tell you one around the campfire sometime.
Okay, well then, I don't have any objections to it, so Sap, go ahead and we can always come back and find you if we need you.
Okay. Sap gives a nod and begins to walk backwards and actually walks back into one of the trees and sort of melds into it. And as you're waving to it, it sort of mimics the waving as well as he disappears into the tree.
That is a really good trick to have.
People are so cool.
Yeah.
Grumble.
We'll get you a pet.
I just have to say this, and it's the only time I'm going to do it, but it's the best pun I have ever heard before. When Sap left, someone in chat was like, he can't stick around. And
That
it
was just
fantastic.
rather wooden.
I want you to ban that person. I'm just kidding.
They should just leave.
Sounds like they're bored.
Bonus points.
Continue.
I made all the tree puns I needed to earlier in the week. I'm okay.
That's amazing.
All right. So, just gonna adjust the next encounter a bit.
Chat killed us.
We've got off the pun rail. We're off the pun rail.
No, I don't think Sean can see the forest for the trees.
Just wait. Just wait.
Oh, guys, my parents are calling me home for dinner, so I gotta go. But catch everybody later. Bye.
Okay. So, as you
Village.
as you focus, all of you sitting around giggling to yourselves as you make a bunch of shitty puns, you emerge at the edge of this lake and begin walking alongside it towards this village after about half an hour, almost about 2 miles, so close to 45 minutes of travel. You make it to just on the outskirts of this village, and you can see this Tabaxi community sort of thriving among it. You see the sort of fishing industry here, the boats kind of coming up to the shore, unloading their nets filled with a few dozen fish, while a few other Tabaxi come over and begin to gather those nets, dragging them back towards the village, putting them onto racks and gutting them, prepping them. You see small Tabaxi children sort of running amongst the buildings, while parents try to sort of corral them back into the village itself, especially as they see all of you approach, some of them being a little suspicious and wary, retreating back into their huts.
Is there anyone sort of on the outskirts of the village who looks as if they are on guard?
There doesn't you don't necessarily see anyone like on guard, but you do see what is probably one of the hunters of the village come stepping out from behind one of the buildings with some of the other Tabaxi you saw before, escorting them and then pointing towards your group. The large, very tall, muscular, brown furred catfolk with a spear in one hand, wearing some leather armor, looks over and gives a nod back towards the smaller Tabaxi escorting them, and then begins to head in your direction. Warily comes to about 10 yards away from you, and in Tabaxi looks towards you, Star, and says, "Good day, traveler. How can we help you?"
Good day. We are just on a long journey ourselves, and we're hoping we could stop in your village for a chance to rest and recuperate. We are also hoping we can share some tales and have some good times sharing peace among various peoples.
Well, we welcome travelers here in Waterroot. If you wish to stay, we only ask that you do so outside the village. We don't allow travelers to sleep in the village itself.
Of course, that is fair. My name is Star Shining Through the Storm Clouds. I am of the Swaying Tree clan.
I am Stone living in the heavens. Pleasure to meet you. We are also among the Swaying Tree clan here.
Just wondering, did you have any merchants or anyone nearby who would speak a tongue they know is common, just to help with talking and communicating?
We don't have many here that speak the common tongue. I know a few words myself, but not many.
I know my friend here, pointing to Sadel, speaks our language as well. The others, they may need a bit of translating or some time for things to be explained.
We are accustomed to those here that don't speak our tongue. We've had few come through over the years. You are welcome here as long as you do not pose us any risk.
Of course. May we stop inside the village for a meal and a chance to put our bags down at least?
Of course. You are welcome. Also a member of the Swaying Tree clan. It is good to me. Looks over to the rest of you and in broken common speaks out towards all of you. Be welcome. And sort of retreats back towards the village a bit, seeming to be a little more relaxed since with Star, you being able to speak to him and also being a member of the Swaying Tree clan. Sadel, you obviously understood what was happening there. The rest of you, all you heard was be welcome.
So a quick thing, always be polite, always be courteous to everyone. If they get offended, stop prying and just leave.
That's good to know.
Sean, while this was all going on, Lil is just scanning for Orchid.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I'm doing, because I don't know, A, what they're saying, and B, I want some revenge, and I'm not a happy camper. And then I look to Star. Star? Since we're here looking for one that may look like them and they may not know is something else. How's that gonna go over if we start attacking someone who looks like a Tabaxi and they think maybe a Tabaxi but isn't?
I've been thinking about that. Whoever this Orchid person is, if they are infiltrating the village somehow, we just need to make them slip up. If she really is responsible for the mass graves in the jungle you found, perhaps we can bring her crimes to light somehow. Hey, Sadel, if we're talking to people about Orchid, try asking them about fairy tales first. You're listening to something called The Jungle's Darkness.
Okay.
and then I would sort of lead everyone to sort of a center point in the village, sort of finding sort of a clear bit of ground that isn't occupied to just sort of set the bags down on, sit on the floor, and sort of get food out.
Okay. A few members of the community, as Stone makes his way back towards wherever he was coming from, back into the village, you see other members of the community coming out of their homes and looking out at all of you as you pass. A few of the children kind of trying to come out and get a peek through the windows, but you're able to enter the village and put down your things and get out some provisions. So, are you guys approaching any of the Tabaxi, or what are you doing? There are plenty of them around.
I'm gonna see if there's anyone who looks like they've got goods or are trying to sort of settle trade.
Okay. Anybody else doing anything?
I'm just scanning faces.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of see where Star goes and go in the opposite direction, try and cover more ground.
Okay.
I'm just literally following Lilibet around. Like, maximum 5 feet away at all times.
Well, I'm sitting at the picnic blanket, so I'm not going anywhere. I'm just
sitting there.
I'm following Star. And before like anything happens, he kind of leans over to Star and he's like, I know we have a few more days or weeks of travel. I would love to learn your language. Since we're going to be here, might as well, right? So if we have time, would you be willing to teach me?
I'm sure we can fit something in. Just, I'll try to lead you through some of this conversation here.
That would be appreciated.
Okay. I'll have a little bit. You make a perception check, and then we'll get to what Star and the rest of them are doing as well.
14.
14. Okay. You begin to scan the faces and look around as you're following behind your companions. You don't see anyone that looks like Orchid as you're you're getting used to distinguishing between Tabaxi at this point. You have encountered very many of them at your time. You're starting to understand the distinct markings and the colorings and all that, but you don't see anyone matching the appearance of Lilibet or of Orchid at this point. You definitely don't see anyone matching the appearance of Lilibet. So we have Saddle going one way, and then Lucius and Star going the other. Star, Den, Den, Lilibet, and Barb. You just sort of following along with them. You guys just dividing into two groups.
Yeah.
Okay. Who are you guys going with?
I'm gonna go with Sadell.
I'm just following Lilibet around like a weird bodyguard.
All right. Barb?
If I'm around Lucius, then yeah, I'm following him.
Okay, so 3 and 3. All right, so we'll go Star first. So you go and you approach or kind of head through this, I guess the town square, to speak of. It's a small little village, and they're sort of all bunched together. You do find this sort of town center where a number of the Tabaxi are surrounded. There's a well in the center, and another number of the Tabaxi are there cleaning clothes and engaging in conversation. They sort of stop as they see you approaching for a second, and some of them continue out their business, and others sort of warily move away. You do see what looks to be a little bit larger hut with a porch on the front of it. You see a number of oddities and little pieces of colorful stone and metalworks and other little odds and ends look to be collected, all sort of gathered outside of it. And there is a older looking Tabaxi man sitting on the stairs there, sort of polishing what looks to be a relatively rusted dagger. Kind of looks at it for a second, polishes it some more, sees you approach, and gives a nod in your direction, speaks out to you in Tabaxi and says, "Don't see many travelers around here. Welcome."
I'm pleased to be here. I've been traveling for a while, and to be honest, I've been away from the whole land a bit. I apologize first. My friend here wishes to learn the language. I just may try lead him through some of the conversation, if that's all right with you.
Well, speaking a bit of common then.
Mm-hmm.
I've picked up a bit here and there. I should be able to help out a little. All right. So, what is it that you need?
This may seem an unusual request, but a small bit of information, if you don't mind.
Sure. I travel a bit. I know a thing or two about a thing or two.
My friends here are very interested in myths, legends of the lands, the stories. There are some they've come across that they're curious about. The dancing lights, ladies of the woods, and what was the other one? The forest's darkness.
All popular fairy tales amongst the children here. What is it you need my help with?
From what I've learned, everywhere sort of varies the story slightly depending on what's around. I've heard one fishing village called the Forest Darkness, something that lurks within the lakes and rivers. I was wondering what this village's representation of it was.
My children have long grown and left, but we have, when I told it to them many years ago, we spoke of it as shadows in the forests, told them to stay close, not to wander too far. In reality, we were more afraid that a snake or something would get them, but it was an easy way to keep them at home. That's all I can really say.
I'm just having a fair look around the shop as well as we're talking, just if anything catches my eye, anything unusual, sort of strange for Growler or sort of this kind of area, if that makes sense.
Okay. As you're looking over it, and it's less of a shop than it is just kind of a collection of junk on the outside of this, kind of on tables and hanging from areas around the porch. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Uh, 15.
15. Okay. Based on what you're seeing while you're carrying on in this conversation, none of it is too odd or strikes you as too strange. And most of it looks to be things fashioned by Tabaxi and Tabaxi craft. There are a couple of pieces that look like they probably came from trade being brought in from outside of Growlar. There are some small pieces of like clockwork, essentially like gears and things that have been strung together as pieces of this a wind chime that's hanging at the edge of the roof. And there are a few other pieces here and there, mostly rusted bits of metal, pieces from bits of armor, or like I said, just random pieces of clockwork or wagons and things like that.
These wind chimes here, they're very interesting. I've never seen any quite like that.
Oh, well, I've acquired a number of different pieces from traders that have come through the past. We don't see as many now that the roads have been blocked off. We haven't seen a traveler from Fort Harrington in many moons. But I can.
That may be changing soon. My friends here actually came here for starting from Fort Harrington themselves. They're here as an emissary actually to go to 10,000 steps.
Oh,
I figure I may help them learn as much of the culture and of our people, of course, as we can on our travels. Hence why we decided to stop within the village.
Well, that's interesting. Anything I can do to help, and glad to see that we might be getting some business again. So that's good to know.
What kind of thing would you expect for one of these wind chimes? The first thing I have to put on the table, I know it's not much, but I have a singular dose of a giant spider's venom.
The wind chimes are a bit sentimental. We don't get many oddities from outside here. I don't know if I'd be willing to part with the wind chimes for that, but I could give you one of. I have some river stones that have been painted by the children around here, and I also have this dagger I've been working on that I was crafted by one of our artisans in town. I'd be willing to trade you some of that for the venom.
I'll be happy for the river stones.
River stones? All right. He kind of steps up and takes the dagger, puts it to the side of the cloth he was using to polish it, walks back and rummages through a few boxes and pulls out this small box of brightly painted, very smooth river stones. And you can see it looks like some paint that has been created using clay and bits of flowers and berries from the area, all kind of smashed together. And there's a thick coat of this brightly colored paint on the tops of these stones. Most of them depict like suns and clouds and other like bits of nature. One of them looks like a more talented young student tried to paint looks to be a lion on the front of it, or some other sort of wildcat. But they're nice. But he kind of holds it out to you and says, "You can take I'll trade you for the venom. You can take as many of those as you like."
I'll take 6 of them.
All right then.
One other question as well, and I just quickly swap back into Tabaxi here. Has Bird been around recently?
Bird. I know that name. Is he from the Thorn Clan?
The Sharp Thorn.
The Sharp Thorns. That's right. I haven't seen him in a few years now.
Well, that suits some of my needs. And we talked about the fairy tales. Now I just need information.
All right.
Our journey here is a bit more serious. Anything on disappearances you may have heard?
Disappearances? Why would you be interested in that?
Started up north apparently a while ago. First, a child who had visiting the fort disappeared with their mother, then one from a village from their farms further south. We followed the rumors to here, and we may as well try find what we can before moving on.
We haven't had any problems recently, but a few weeks back we had one of the local children went missing. Body never turned up. Well, his mother was distraught. The whole family was. We just assumed that something had he had gone out into the dark, and as we tell the children not to, and a creature had gotten a hold of him.
Just hope it wasn't one of the giant gorillas. Those are horrible.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you for your time. I sort of pass in a couple of gold pieces as well.
Okay. He takes them and sort of looks them over. Thank you.
Would you be able to tell us where?
He kind of takes them and throws them to the box with another bit of colorful rocks and stuff. Looks back to you.
Would you be able to tell us where we could find Bobby's mother at this point? I know it may be a painful memory for her, but if we're to put a stop to this, we need as much as we can get.
She lives on the northern edge of town. Can't miss it. It's the last hut at the northern edge of the lake. Her name's Breeze. So she may be willing to speak with you about it, but I can't make any promises.
I thank you for your time. May the moon shine fondly on your business.
Thank you. On your travels as well. He goes back to his business, and I guess you and your companions head off.
Just walk away, just saying out loud in common. So what did you learn from that conversation? What did you glean from what we were talking about?
It was very, I only got a little, but talking about the shadows, how different towns or villages have different meanings of the same thing, which I thought was interesting. Question, when you buy or barter things, is it on like a barter system? I want this, therefore I will give you this in return?
Pretty much, yes. It's harder to explain. If we run into an old friend of mine, he may be able to do things a bit better. Trade usually depends on what's needed and what's required. For example, somewhere where the giant spiders are quite common, the venom like that could be used to make an antidote, so it would have been a much more valuable resource.
Okay, I get it. I'm learning. I'm starting to get how all of this works. You switched completely into Tabaxi there, and I lost everything, but that's fine.
I needed to try catch him off guard about something, but I think I have the information we need to carry on.
So, has she been seen in the village, or any rumor about it?
No, but they're the right source of rumors in the village, and from what I've heard of a disappearance recently, we may be on the right track.
Well, one is bad enough, but if it's a start, I might as well check to see what's going on.
Let's go and eat our lunch first. Perhaps we can get some more of the children to talk to us.
I'm following you.
So just go back to our stuff and chill and eat.
Okay, so we have the rest of you heading to the other side of town. Saddle, you're sort of leading the way, and you head off towards the sort of eastern side where the villages or the huts become a little more scarce. You see there's a cluster of them, so the last little bits near the edge, and then there's one hut that you see sort of separated from them about maybe 100 yards away, out towards the forest. There are some children playing in this area, and some other Tabaxi kind of carrying about their business, tanning some leather and doing their day's chores. What would you like to do?
I'll turn to the other two that are with me and just... Well, what do you two think? Should we look around some more, or maybe ask some questions?
Well, what do you think is their best bet? Do you think maybe the kids will be more willing to talk to weird strangers?
Well, I don't really think their parents would appreciate us just coming up to their children. That'd be a little sketchy.
I mean, kids really like me. I don't know why.
Do kids like oatcakes?
I don't know.
Well, Dan, if you'd like to give it a shot, go for it.
I hand her an oatcake.
Okay. I mean, I don't speak the language.
Oh, right. Well, I mean, I could translate for you.
might work. They like the fins, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, we could kind of team up on this one.
All right.
Well, and I kind of look like a kid. I mean, I'm always gonna look like one, so maybe we'll be just less intimidating.
I mean, I
As a
wasn't
whole,
I wasn't gonna say it, but
it's okay. it's not a bad thing.
all right.
I can't help it. I'm short.
All right, well, I guess let's go talk with the children.
Okay. You approach a group of children out playing. They have a small sort of leather ball that they're kicking around. One of them stops when you approach and gives an eye towards you, retreating away a bit. Just do what you're doing. All of you sort of being strangers.
Can I like mimic like kick the ball to me so I can like play kickball with them?
Okay. You motion for that, and one of the young Tabaxi girls kind of looks over your direction. She has the ball in front of her, and she half-heartedly kicks it towards you. It scatters across the ground a couple times and comes to rest about 2 feet away from you.
And please make me make like an acrobatics check, but I want to do some weird soccer player fun thing where like I kick it backward, like pretend like I'm gonna do it, and then I'll tap it back to him.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna make you make an acrobatics check for that.
Lil's trying to show off.
Sports ball.
Sports ball. I got a 15.
15. It's not too bad. Okay, so you it's a little bit hard in your armor, but yeah, you you kick it back and forth a bit, kind of trying to show off before returning the ball to them. The Tabaxi children seem to liven up a bit, and they begin to pass the ball around among themselves, and then kick it back to you, sort of engaging in this and play with you.
Are they like playing some sort of sport I would recognize, or
They just seem to be kicking a ball around. It's
cool?
If there is a sport here, it doesn't seem familiar to you.
I like lean over to Den. It's just like I have realized that I don't really know how to talk to children.
Oh, that's all right. I kind of like kneel down a little bit, so I'm not taller than all of them. Not that I'm that tall,
No.
but about a little bit size. And if I can catch a kind of a break in the kickball, when I don't know, maybe they're stopping a little bit. I just kind of, hey.
Okay, so you find a moment where actually one of the boys kicks the ball and sort of kicks it off to the side a bit. It gets away from him, goes scattering off about like 10 or 15 yards away, and has to go chase after it. You take that moment as the little girl who's playing stops to take a breather. You catch her attention, and she looks over towards you and gives kind of a half smile as she walks over towards you.
Sadell, just say what I say.
Okay.
I try to talk, even though I know she doesn't understand me. I'll try to talk like directly to her. Hello.
Hello.
For the sake of this conversation,
We're doing this.
Yeah.
Repeat everything I say.
Commit to the bit.
I'm Den. This is Sadell. He speaks your language, so he's gonna help me out. And this is Lil. What's your name?
She, after Sadell finishes speaking, she says, "My name is Winter."
Winter. Well, that's lovely. Do Do you mind if I ask you something?
She kind of looks back as the other boys, or the two boys she was playing with, begin to play with the ball. And kind of like, it was still with a little bit, and looks like she wants to play, but looks back to what she says. Oh, okay.
Listen. We're looking for a friend of ours. She sort of got lost in the trees, but she's a Tabaxi like you, and I wonder if you've seen her. So I'll just kind of describe Orchid to the best of my ability, and just say, her name is Orchid. We're just really worried about her. But you seem to know a lot of people around here. Have you seen her?
She looks for a moment. No one like that's been here.
Alright, one more thing, and then I swear you can go back and play. I'll leave you alone. Has there been anyone new that's come to your village recently, besides us, besides me and my friends? Is there anyone who's shown up that you don't recognize?
Not lately, no.
No? Do you get a lot of visitors?
No.
No. What about... I'm sort of looking at Sella, like, what did Star call them? The darkness?
The jungle's darkness.
Jungle's darkness. I heard it's a bit of a scary story. Do you know about them?
She kind of, her eyes go wide a bit, and she says, yeah, Mom told me about them.
What did she tell you?
And not to go out after dark, be back before the sun goes down, don't go into the forest by myself.
Alright. That's good advice. You listen to your mum.
A friend of mine went missing a while back. They took him.
Who's your friend?
Mist.
Mist. You said the darkness took him.
Yeah.
When was that? Was that just a couple of days or?
While ago.
While ago.
Time ago. Yeah. He was nice.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what. My friends here are pretty good at finding people, so we'll have a look. And we'll see what we can do. But thank you for talking to me.
She kind of looks at your armor and like the weaponry a bit, and looks over all of you and says, "Will you kill it?"
The darkness, you mean?
Yeah.
We could try.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Can I go back and play now?
You can definitely go back and play. Thank you very much.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
And she goes back and begins kicking the ball around again.
Well, that wasn't so bad.
I told you guys, kids like me.
Anybody else hungry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well let's go. Let's go and see if anybody what everybody else found out, and then let's go see if we can. Because I'm worried that maybe Orchid can not only shapeshift into the one shape, maybe she can do multiple looks, I guess.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're pretty not hidden or anything, so she may have seen us coming, which makes me a little nervous.
Yeah. Alright.
Okay. So you guys all sort of gather back together in the center town where you put all your belongings down to eat. You see Star and Lucius and Barb are back there now, and they're all eating again.
So, what did you find out?
We talked to some of the kids.
That's good. They probably had more information than anyone else.
Yeah. One of the little ones, Winter, the one that's really good over there with the ball, right? Said one of her friends had gone missing. And that the jungle's darkness took him.
He kind of points to Star. Didn't we have a name of someone whose kid went missing a while ago? You are muted, good sir.
Who cast silence on me?
I'm so sorry. I was trying out something new.
Breeze, she lives on the northern edge of town. I was going to pay her a visit after we had finished eating.
Yeah.
Maybe these two people are connected.
It's possible. She said the kid's name was Mist. So that sounds like a family to me. I don't know.
Breeze, Winter, Mist. Yeah, it does.
But yeah, she didn't know much about it, but they're supposed to stay inside after dark and all that. We tried to reinforce that in them, but
Definitely for the best, but you do get them more curious, or if some of the things you've told me are true, she may have a way of luring them out of their homes.
yeah.
Sean,
Yes.
because my brain is a little slow today. So when we went to go and find the kids, you said there was a hut a little further out.
Yeah.
Let's reach for some questions here. Did it look newer? Did it look older? Did it look shabbier? Does it look the same? And I'm just reaching for something.
It looked a little maybe older.
Okay.
I mean, based on you didn't get a very good look at it. You didn't go up like inspect it, but the doors were closed.
Mhm.
There were no, the windows along it were there were coverings on the inside of them. There was you couldn't see inside. You didn't notice anybody moving around in there. It looked maybe not as well maintained. It probably hadn't been cleaned as thoroughly on the outside or as treated as well on the outside as some of the others.
Okay.
Which
direction was that?
That was where you guys were. That was so you guys went kind of east of the village, away from the lake. So it was on basically on the furthest most point of the village.
Okay. And then last question. Based on where this town is, do we have any sense of where the pit of Gross is?
Based on where you currently are, it would be to the northwest, probably about 10 miles.
Thank you.
So what are we thinking? So the kids didn't seem to know anyone of the description of Orchid.
I didn't think description would work. If she can shapeshift, she can probably hide her appearance any way she wants.
Yeah.
I was going to go talk to Breeze on my own, if you don't mind. No offense, you may unsettle her.
That's fair.
Me specifically, or all of us?
All of you.
All right.
I'm pretty sure I would be the most unsettling one here.
I just don't know how offended I should be. I'm just kidding. No, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
In fact, Lucius, would you mind if I hang on to the teddy bear there?
Oh, yes. He pulls it out of his back and hands it to him. Here, take it.
I'm actually just going to sort of strap it onto my belt, so it's sort of just on my hip in open view.
Okay.
I will try and talk to Breeze. If anyone tries to talk to you, if you get any information, just try to be free, open, polite. If they ask for food, offer some. You have to show that sort of mutual hospitality here. They're letting us stay in their village, so we must do the same for them. Oh, and one last thing, and I pull out 5 of the river stones I bought and give everyone else one of them. Apparently these were drawn by the children in the village. Just a little keepsake.
That's so nice.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. Star, so you're heading over to the...
I'm gonna help find Breeze's house.
I just
Okay.
make sure that we've given him all of the relevant information, like the kid's name that we got and everything, before he goes away.
Okay. So you give them that information. Star, you begin making your way to the northern side of town, following the curvature of the lake. You find the northernmost house there, and walk up to the front entryway. You knock on it, and there's some shuffling inside, and the door sort of creaks open a bit. You see the half the face of a Tabaxi woman sort of poke out the side. She says, "Yes, can I help you?"
I apologize for the intrusion. My name is Star. I just wish to talk to you briefly, ask some questions about the village and things that may have happened. I'm on a bit of an investigation, you see.
She kind of looks you over for a moment. She looks behind you. All right. She opens the door, sort of invite you in. As she does, you see her eyes sort of flash down to your hip, where you have the animal currently. She freezes there for a second. She looks back up at you. Where did you get... You son of a bitch! And she jumps at you, actually knocking you back onto the dirt outside the house, and actually, like, in a ferocious sort of snarling noise, which you all hear at this point, begins to climb on top of you, begins screaming at you, asking you, "Where is he? Where is he?"
I thought this was the case. If you would let me explain, and I do unstrap the thing and hand it to her.
Okay, I need you to make a persuasion check.
Ah, 3.
Okay. You hear the sounds. Okay. You hear the sounds of the villagers begin to kind of rush out of their houses. All of you hear this as you're beginning to eat in the direction that Star just went. And people begin to come out of their houses and go that direction. She actually rears back and slashes at you with her claws. She hits. She rolled really well, and that's only 4 points of slashing damage.
I just take it, not resisting at all.
Okay, you feel the cuts kind of the claws sink in across your face, and you can feel the heat of the strike, and she just continues. You see like tears beginning to stream down her face as she continues to sort of shake you and yell at you, screaming for you to tell you where he is. As that passes, you see a group of other Tabaxi come rushing in, come up to her and begin to pull her away, questioning her. Some of the older members of the tribe saying, "Are you okay? What's happening here?" And
I'm still sitting on the ground. I don't stand up.
She begins to scream, "He took my son! He has it!" And she just begins to like sob as she looks at the stuffed animal you currently have at your belt.
I unstrap it.
Okay.
I give the bear to one of the villagers and just say, "Would you mind handing this to her?"
Okay. What are the rest of you doing right now, by the way?
So we heard her freak out.
You heard essentially what sounded like the snarl of a panther, and some yelling in Tabaxi.
From the
look at-
direction that Star went
That
in.
star just went, yeah.
I look at Sidel and goes,
Can you tell what they're saying?
You're making out, Sado, you can basically make out somebody shouting, where is he, where is he?
I can hear someone shouting about where is he, like they're looking for somebody.
I'm gone. I'm running.
Yeah, he's done.
Okay, so you all come rushing up as they begin to, and as you guys come around the corner, just as Breeze is being pulled off of Star, Star's kind of laying on the ground. You can see a bit of blood soaking into his fur. He hands this stuffed animal, or you hand the stuffed animal to somebody, and they take it from you, and you see them looking at you with suspicion, and some of them almost bordering on hatred at this point as they stare down your direction. And Breeze just continuing to weep. One of them actually, or a few of them, begin to draw weapons, sort of out in anticipation.
As Sadel approaches, I just ask him to say where they found the stuffed toy.
Well, we found it back in the woods about 10 miles back. In a hole where there were bodies.
As you say that, she just the woman begins to weep even more, and just sort of like doubles over onto the ground. A few of them look at you and look back towards Star. Star, I'm gonna need you to make a persuasion check too. So you're trying to defuse the situation. I'll give you advantage on the check because of sort of the atmosphere here of all of you. I assume you guys are all standing back there just like, that's true. Okay.
if we understood what he was saying, but yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. He speaks Tabaxi. Okay, but I'll give you advantage on it anyway, because again, the nature of the situation.
Something I did mean to say is I was just going to sort of hold my hand up towards the rest of them.
Okay.
So.
Basically saying don't light anyone on fire. It's perfectly fine.
Don't light anyone on fire, don't stab them, hammer them, shoot them, chop them, play music.
It's a long hand signal.
Lil's just kind of like standing there with her, like she's not touching any of her weapons. She's just kind of like ready to draw, but not trying to be super aggressive. She's just like, hey.
Okay. Sado.
Do I
Persuasion
need to make
check.
that roll? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
persuasion.
I thought you were telling Alex to make the check.
No, you make
My
the check.
bad.
Yeah.
Since I'm doing persuading. 18.
18. Okay. As you say this, and you see some of them begin to calm down and begin to stow their weapons, or at least hold them down to the side. A few of them back off a bit from that were beginning to cluster around Star. Breeze is still sobbing, but the rest of them, and one of them actually holds the stuffed animal out to her, and she quickly clutches it and begins to hold it tightly to her chest.
I stand up, walk closer to her, and kneel back down. Just say in Tabaxi, we've been hunting for this thing. We need to find it, and unfortunately you were the first place we could get to. I'd like to be able to stop it. For that, I'm afraid we need your help.
Okay. She's just clutching it there. She's kneeling in the dirt, and she looks up at you, and you see a look up. There's a sort of a smattering of emotions across her face at this point. She seems confused, but mostly just distraught. And she shakes her head. She says, I don't know. He's gone. He's gone. And she just begins to repeat that over and over again.
It's fair. I won't pry. We won't take up your time any further. I just look up to the hunter and thank you for letting us stay in the village. We have a few things we wish to gather. Then we'll be heading off. Lucius, sorry, are you?
Well, it's more of a question to Sean, not Lucius.
Oh, sorry.
That's why I was waiting.
Oh.
Can I make an insight check on her?
On her?
Yeah,
Sure.
because we've been burned by people we thought were Tabaxi before. 9.
9. Okay. It's hard to see anything through the grief. She is a hard sight to watch.
Gotcha.
One of the Tabaxi, actually Stone, who met you as you entered the village, comes up to your group and actually just kind of comes up to all of you, gets very close and says, "We need to talk. Follow me." And begins to motion for you to follow him a little bit away from the building at the current group of Tabaxi gathering around Breeze.
Star, are you okay?
I'm fine. I needed the reaction more than anything, if I'm honest.
Alright.
It's always hard to see that, but
I just grab Star's hand and pump 5 points of lay on hands on him.
Okay. As you're walking, you heal Star, and Star, you feel the wound close, and the pain goes away. You still have blood caked on your fur. Probably have to get that out, but the rest of it, the pain's gone. You all make your way a few buildings over as Stone turns around and looks at you, Star, and says, "Tell me again where you found the bodies."
Sarah, you have the better information than I do.
Well, we found it. We were traveling through the forest, and we stumbled across a pit, and the pit was filled with the remains of what we believed to be other Tabaxi, and we found the stuffed animal along with them.
Is this in common? Sorry. Or is this in Tabaxi?
Tabaxi.
Okay.
But if you guys want to, for the sake of this conversation, say that you're translating.
I'll be doing the So, well, we can swap around depending on who's talking, really.
Okay. Then I will say that you guys are privy to what's being said. So he looks and he says, or he kind of looks in the direction that you signal, and says, "How many bodies do you know exactly?"
there were dozens.
And not long after that we found the pit, we heard a kerfuffle or a commotion not far away, and there was what we thought was a Tabaxi being set upon by what were they, treants? Is that what those were?
Yeah.
And we thought she was in danger, so we helped her, and then we camped, and in the middle of the night, she turned out to not be she, and she attacked me, and then disappeared.
Gives a nod. Says, "I'm impressed that you know the Tabaxi word of kerfuffle."
Where did you learn that? I've never said it.
I don't know. I just pick stuff up here and there.
But says, I hunt for the village. Most of our food comes from fishing, but I venture out into the jungles and hunt to keep the forests safe and to look for food. I go to villages surrounding this lake, which there are a few.
As a hunter, I'm guessing you know what really hides in the jungles, then.
I do. I've encountered creatures that I cannot explain and seen things that many would not understand. Do you know what has caused this, what left the bodies, what has been taking these people?
An Oni.
I do not know this word.
Star, is there any definition?
The fairy tales of the jungle's darkness. You know the children's version, but have you ever been told the version of for a child that has been scolded severely, or for those who have committed the worst crimes?
I know that many of the fairy tales that we tell are warnings of things that lurk out there.
The closest one to the Oni would be... I'm not sure. It could either be a deceiver of some kind, or an essence of viciousness.
I only ask this because I have, as I said, been to other villages, and there are others that are missing as well, from what I've understood. Many of the clans living in the area around here, the tribes surrounding the lake, have suffered disappearances, as well as those attempting to travel to the north through the pass. Do you think that this deceiver is hiding among us?
It could potentially be among you or any of the other villages. This was the first one we were led to by for what, since it makes one of the living trees.
There is a man at the edge of the town here. His name is Mud. He's lived here for many years now. Lately, he seems to be acting strange, distant. Do you think that he could be this deceiver?
When did the disappearances start happening?
I do not know exactly.
Well, it's worth us going to talk to him. If he's been around a while, he may even know more of the subject.
I would like to insight check Stone, please.
Okay.
I am too, because I don't trust Tabaxi anymore.
Might as well.
19.
I'm insulted.
This is leading to some great relations between
21.
18.
Okay. As he seems to be honest with you. I mean, none of you are getting any inky vibes off of him.
We really are sorry that we brought such unfortunate news to your village. But we hope to help stop any future harm.
Thank you. If I can help in any way, let me know. I'll speak with Breeze.
Please do just make sure she's okay. For what it's worth, try keep the word of what's happening down. If it knows we're here, it could make its gets away.
Okay.
Can I just describe Orchid and say this is who appeared to us and ask him if he's ever seen anything similar, or maybe describe the markings and maybe they will sound familiar. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you describe her to him the best that you can and her appearance. From what your description was, he thinks for a moment, he says, that face does not seem familiar to me. I don't know anyone of that name. And I don't know anyone. There are some that have the same coloring, but no one that speaks to me as the same person.
Okay, well, it's worth a shot.
I'll keep an eye out, though. I should get back to Breeze, though, and make sure that everybody is okay. And I'll tell them that you've had nothing to do with your son's disappearance. We'll
We'll,
go.
we'll skirt the village to get to Mutt's hut. We'll keep out of things until it calms.
He nods and says that is a good idea. Well, I have some work to do then. And he gives a bow and heads back in the direction of the large crowd of Tabaxi.
Let's go out of the village and round.
Yeah. It's best not to be here at the moment.
Okay.
Guys, that was the hut we saw when we met the kids.
Was it? You've seen where this mud lives?
Yeah, it looked a little unkempt compared to the other ones, but I don't know. We were interested in learning more, so we talked to the kids and didn't go and investigate. So
It might be of some use to check it out. If anything, this mud could know what's been going on, which is why he's been hiding for so long.
it's worth a shot. Just be on your guard, guys.
Especially now.
Okay. So you begin heading towards the far side of the town, the easternmost edge of the village. The sun is beginning to set. It's reaching sort of later in the day at this point, as all these conversations and all the travel is taking place. You see the Tabaxi beginning to return their home and some torches being lit throughout the town to provide some light as you make your way towards Mud's hut. You make your way to the edge of the village. You see the hut that a few of you saw earlier, sitting just in the outskirts, kind of about a little older looking, about the same in size and shape as all of the others. However, the doors are currently closed. The windows are covered from the inside by what looks to be like curtain of some sort, and there is no light coming from inside of it.
Knock on the door.
I'm gonna walk around the back and see if there's a back door.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow Lil and see if, one, there's another entry, and two, if there's anything like out of place, in the surrounding area.
I would like
Okay.
to stay with Star so he doesn't get punched in the face again.
So Miami Vice goes around to the back of the building in case the perp decides to flee through the rear of the residence. Okay, well, the rest of you stay at the beginning to breach. Star, you go up to the door and you rap on it twice. You hear the hollow knocking from inside. A few moments pass. Nothing.
I'm just now waiting to see if I hear from Lil and whoever else has gone around the other side.
I go up
Okay.
beside him and reach over his shoulder and knock louder.
Okay. Dun dun dun. Moments pass. You don't hear anything, or the door doesn't open. Lil and Lucius, you walk around to the back. There isn't another entrance on the rear of the house. Seems the only entryway is in the front. There are a few more windows back there, but it's a circular building or a circular hut.
It's like a yurt.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it on stilts or?
It's like slightly raised, for mild flooding, but nothing unless too high up. You don't have to go up a huge flight of stairs to go to it.
Okay. Last question. Any of the windows open?
They're all open. There's no glass or anything. They just have curtains on the inside.
I go up to one, slowly, and if I need to make a stealth check, I will, and see if I can peek inside.
Okay, make a stealth check.
Because that's what I'm good for.
I stop moving completely so he can be stealthy.
Okay, well, make a stealth check.
12.
That's not nice. I said I stopped moving.
Well, yeah, I assume you're trying to hide.
10. Jesus.
Staying still is still an ordeal in heavy armor. It's kind of clink, 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 clink.
Don't you have
Shift.
disadvantage?
You do have disadvantage.
Sorry.
She tried to
Hey.
cheat.
Hey, we had to go through that last session or last game. We know.
I still have disadvantage.
I have disadvantage, so it's still a 10.
Still a 10. Good. Okay, so you stay as quiet as you can, kind of holding the pieces of your armor in place, trying to stay as quiet as you can. You're still with your shifting and everything. There's that kind of creaking of chain and the shifting of it, but you stay as quiet as you can. You're also standing out in the middle of everything, so there's a visual aspect to this as well.
Just see Lil.
Yeah. You, Lucius, make your way up to the window, and so you're kind of peering in through the curtains there.
Yeah.
You kind of pull yourself up a bit. It's a little bit higher than your eye level. Pull yourself up a bit and kind of peek through the curtains. It is dark inside of there. Very, very difficult to see.
Even with dark vision?
I mean, it's okay. You do have dark vision, don't you? So with your dark vision, it's like dim, so it's a bit hazy. Shades of red, I think, because you're a tiefling. You look in, and what you see inside is you see the shapes of furniture. There's like a table in the center. You see the kind of the dust hanging in the air, like somebody either doesn't clean a lot or doesn't spend a lot of time here. There's even some spider webbing towards the top of the windowsill. But what catches your eye is that there are some scatterings of shapes across the ground. It's hard to make out exactly what they are, but there are, like, the ground is like littered with objects, and the place is a mess. Looks like somebody has thoroughly trashed it.
Turns back to Lil. Well, how far away is Lil, actually?
She's like a few feet away from you.
Okay.
Slightly
Well-
clinking in the breeze.
Right. Well, it does not seem like there's anybody inside, but something went through here and wrecked the place.
Is it like one big room, or
Yeah,
from
is it
just
like
the room you can see?
is it just like one big room, or just that's what I can see?
Yeah, I mean, it's one room, and there's like a cot on the far side, a table, some shelves, and like I said, the floor is covered in things, but you can't make out what they
I
are.
give a detailed breakdown of the room because he was part of the army.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Well-
I could go inside right now and open the door, but I don't actually know what's in here. Something
Yeah.
could be hiding.
I don't trust the Oni, so I'm gonna go tell the guys. I'm gonna go run around
All right.
And give them the description and just say,
I don't think anyone's here, but Lucius is got a point. They could be hidden.
I'm just around front trying to convince Star and Sad L to let me kick in the door.
Is there an actual lock on the door? There's an actual lock on the door.
There seems to be. It's not like if you try to open it, doesn't open.
I so want to just jump in and open the door before she kicks in.
Let me have my fun first, and I'm going to try to pick the lock on the door because
Okay.
I haven't done this in too long.
All right.
Let the rogue be a rogue. Yeah, go ahead and make a check with your thieves tools using dexterity.
Yeah. That one.
welcome back, Alex.
Okay. Start picking at it, and okay, get down on one knee and start picking at it some more. And it just takes a while. It's rusted, and you try to wedge it a bit, and just a few minutes pass.
Lucius is inside by now.
Are you climbing in?
After a minute or two, Lucius just is yeah, no, and just slowly just crawls in.
Okay, so as Star is trying to work on this, Lil, what are you doing?
I nudge Den, and I'm like,
Go. Do what you do. He's taking too long.
I'm trying to kick him in the head.
Star,
I
would
got
you
this.
like to?
I got this.
Star, would you like to give me a shot at it?
Sure.
Okay, why don't you make a check with your thieves' tools using dexterity?
Oh.
I just expected him to
A
like pull
9.
out his gun and just shoot it.
A 9. Even with the difficulty as long, you're still not able to get it. You get down and you start picking at it. At this point, if you do pull yourself into the room, like kind of pulling yourself over the windowsill, rolling in through the curtains, landing just next to the door. You can hear Sadell sort of picking at it from the other side.
Can I see like the lock inside?
You can. Well, yeah, you can see the interior mechanism. Yeah.
Well, I mean, can I like unlock the door from where I am and just open it?
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Okay, so as Sadell is currently working at it, suddenly Sadell, almost as if by magic, suddenly, toosh, it unlocks.
I'm not paying attention, so I go, "Oh my god!" and I kick it.
Alright, make an athletics check.
Do I have enough time to get my arm out of the way as I hear her say, "Oh my god"?
Let me hear what her athletics check is first, and then we'll see.
Nat 20, nat 20, nat 20.
22.
Ooh, take a dexterity saving throw. Yes.
Oh my god.
Door to the face.
18.
Okay, 18's pretty good. So you you hear the muffled sound on this. Oh my god! As you suddenly you rip your arm away from the door, you hear a thoom as the door is kicked open, flying inwards. Sadell, you're standing there with your lockpicks now just midair as the door has just flung away from you.
I got it. All right, let's go.
Good job, Sadell.
Let's see, I unlocked the chest in the Commandant's office. How could I not manage this door?
And I'll give your thieves' tools back.
Okay. As the door flies open and dust is sort of pushed off of the ground and kicked up in this room, and it sort of gets sort of hard to see for a moment. You all find yourselves sort of clearing your throats as you enter, especially you, Lucius, since you were currently inside the place when that happened. So you all begin to filter in, and what you see is the now mostly illuminated room beyond. It is, as I described to Lucius, a mess. There's just chairs knocked over and tables pushed to the side. The bedding looks like it's been ripped off the cot, and the bed's been pushed against the far wall, exposing one of the large walls of the room. There is scratching on the walls that, let's see, is in a language that I don't think any of you understand. Nobody speaks giant, do they? Okay, then it is a language that none of you understand on the walls. But however, what catches all of your eyes first as you enter is that strewn across the floor of this room are gnawed-on bones.
Lucius picks one up.
Okay.
Does it look like human, tabaxi?
It looks like the bones you found in the pit. Looks like a tabaxi, probably an adult, based on the size.
Well, I think we found something.
There should be a man living here. Let's look around.
I just pulled out the bone.
I mean,
it's just like
I think we
I
found
think
him.
we found them.
That's true.
Can I look at the what now are pretty disturbed footprints or anything on the ground? And can I distinguish others from our own?
Yeah, you can try to make a investigation check.
Okay. Investigation. A 12?
12. You scan the room. There are definitely in areas that you guys haven't been in yet. There appear to be some markings of disruption amongst the dust. It's hard to make out any size or shape considering the breeze that has now kicked up a lot of the dust across the room, and now everybody's sort of moving around it. It does look like there probably was somebody here at some point recently, though.
Okay.
Well, guys, want to set a trap?
I don't know if anyone has been here for quite some time. I highly doubt they're coming back.
Well, what are the... Are there words on the wall?
I don't know, I can't speak them. I can't read them.
I mean, I can barely read to begin with, but...
Yeah, but you did kick that door off its damn hinges, so...
yeah. That's how we do it.
So, yeah. Who needs to read?
I mean, I sort of like to read, but... Anyway, let's not talk about that right now.
Well, did Stone say how long it's been since they've seen Mud? I mean, I think I heard you guys translate that he was acting weird, but did anybody say when they saw him last?
No, I think...
It's been a while, they said. That's all they said was that he's lived here for a long time, but
It'd been
in the past
little while. But
Saddle,
why are we writing on the wall?
Saddle, would you and someone else mind going back to the village to just try and find Stone for us?
Sure, I'll run back real quick.
Just tell them we found the hut empty for now. Just try find when Mud was last seen.
Sure thing.
Do you want someone to go with you?
Sure, another person couldn't help.
I'll
Or
go.
couldn't hurt.
If
I
she
couldn't
knows we're
help.
hunting her, we need to stick together.
I'll go. I'm not really good at finding things.
Okay. So the two of you go to leave the hut, or the rest of you are just staying there and continue to look around.
Can I check to see if there's any, like, journals or books or anything from Mud that could kind of point to how long it's been since he's been here?
Yeah, you can do that. So you're gonna look for some sort of documentation there.
Yeah.
Anybody else do anything while they're
Hunting for signs of habitation, and also anything that may be sort of in a hidden place.
okay?
And go ahead.
I just said 14 on my investigation, chat.
Okay, don't roll yet.
Well,
Lil, anything you're doing?
I am gonna, if there is one, I just want to grab a piece of paper and copy down the writing on the wall. Just because.
Okay, so you're being do it. Okay, so the three of you and Barb, anything you're doing at this point?
Not really, just looking around.
Okay. So Den and Saddle, the two of you, begin to leave the front of the hut. As you do, there is a small Tabaxi child that is kind of standing over to the side outside the door, or not right outside the door, but about 20 yards away, holding the ball. It's one of the kids from earlier holding the ball there, kind of looking at all of you and saying, "What are you doing?"
Oh, we just came over here to meet Mud.
Why are you in his house?
We thought we'd say hi. But it looks like he's not home, so we were just leaving.
Okay. Sort of begins to back away.
Have you seen Mud recently?
No.
No? Alright.
Okay.
Go play.
The boy takes boxes. Okay. And kind of goes running off back towards the village. So the two of you are going to get Stone?
Yep.
Okay. You rush back towards the village and kind of go searching through between the different houses and looking for the Tabaxi that you recognize. Eventually, you do find Stone. He's still over near Breeze's house, currently speaking with some of the other Tabaxi there. He looks up as you approach and gives a wave.
I wave back. We've got a just quick little. There's not like a bunch of people around, is there?
It's like a couple, not
Just a couple. Could we talk to you for a second?
Stone says, sure. Do you need?
And I lead him away from the few people that are around. And well, we went over to Mud's house, and it's not looking too good.
Oh. What do you mean?
Well, we found some bones that looked like they had been gnawed on, and no mud.
What kind of bones?
Tabaxi.
Inside Mud's house.
Yes, and it was a mess, and it looked like nobody had been living there for very, very recently. There was some writing on the wall, but none of us could understand what language it was in.
I just saw Mud a few days ago. Could this have happened since then?
Probably.
What do you need me to do? What can I do to help?
I don't know. I mean, keep the people as safe as you can.
All right, I'll begin gathering some of the warriors from the village, some of those that know how to handle a spear, some of the hunters, and we'll get a watch formed, see if we can find what might have caused this.
And I think it would also be best to keep an extra close eye on the children.
Oh, of course. I'll warn everyone, and begins to head back and keep an eye out, or be in.
Oh, and one more thing. There's this song. And I hum the tune for him, and do you recognize that?
You hum it for him, and he listens to it for a moment. He says, "It sounds familiar. Perhaps one of the children was humming it earlier this week. I feel like I've heard that recently."
Okay.
You, as he begins to look back towards some of the other parents, you do see inside one of the homes actually mother and father kind of tending to their children, holding them inside. You see one of the Tabaxi kind of peek their head out. The children looks to be the same Tabaxi that you just saw before with the ball. However, that Tabaxi went the other way.
Stone, I don't want you to panic, but we believe that the Oni is in this village. And we think that it's been taking the shape of one of the children.
One of the children?
Yes.
Begins to look around.
I don't want to start like a witch hunt, but we just need everyone to keep a very close eye.
I will. He looks back towards some of the buildings, and you see the parents kind of coming out and beginning to pull their children inside. All right. I'll gather them as quickly as possible. We'll keep this quiet for now.
Okay.
We have
Thank
to
you.
find it. Is there something we can do to tell which one it might be?
If you hear somebody humming that tune or singing that tune, it's probably them.
Okay.
Because that's the same song that it was singing when we came across it.
All right. I'll keep an eye out for it, and I'll keep an ear out as well. Be safe. We'll get the search party going as soon as possible, and make sure all the children are gathered together. He begins to head back.
As soon as he's gone, I grab Sadell. What do we do?
Well, let's get back to the others and gather them, and let's see if we can work together with the village people and...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I don't want to let it get away.
Yeah, I mean, we need to make this quick.
Alright.
Say maybe try and set a perimeter or something, I don't know. I've never dealt with an Oni before.
Alright.
Okay. So you guys are heading back to your
Queen
companions.
of Patience.
Yep.
All right. So back at the ranch, we have Lucius. You are currently looking for a journal. Okay, so you can go and make an investigation check for that.
Do you want me to just use my 14 or roll another?
Roll another.
Okay.
Star, you were looking for which one?
Habitation and hidden things.
Hidden things, and okay, you can make an investigation check for that.
11.
And then Lil, you were looking for what?
I was copying down the writing on the walls.
Okay, I won't make you make a check for that. You can just copy it.
I got a 21.
Okay. Lucius, you don't see anything out of the ordinary, or you don't see any
Any
journals
writings or journal or anything?
No, nothing
Yeah.
like that. Sadell, you look around.
Star, you mean?
Star. Oh my god, my mind is just gone. So
He's the Oni! Kill him!
you Star, you begin to search the room and looking for bits and pieces. You do find something tucked underneath the cot. There's a section of it which kind of has a lip underneath, and you find something in there. It's like hard and metallic, and you pull it out. There is a large, sort of tarnished iron coin. It's heavy, has some heavy weight to it, and it has some sort of emblem on it or marking on it, but it is long, sort of weathered away. It's indistinguishable, whatever it is, but it's essentially just about 3-inch wide iron disc.
This looks important. I put it in my pocket.
Okay. And then Lil, you spend the time sort of copying down the writing on the wall as closely as you can.
Yep.
Well, it does not seem like he has been here for a while, because I can't find anything of his here.
Do you guys think that maybe Mud's been gone longer than the town really knows, and that the Oni mimicked him?
Oh, definitely.
Can I see, like, how old these bones are, in any case?
Yeah, make a medicine check.
natural 20, so 23.
Nice. Yeah, based on looking at the bones, they don't look ancient. You guess by the age of them, they're probably a few weeks old, or a few weeks deceased.
Well, if he has been not seen for a few weeks, this might explain it.
Yeah.
So your hypothesis is not a unfounded one.
Yeah, who knows? God, where are those guys?
Yeah, where are they? I don't trust this.
Actually, at that exact moment, Sadel and
Transition.
you actually approach the hut. You're outside of it now.
The hut's the only shoot it.
Before I go inside, I want to take a look around and see if there's anyone watching us.
Okay.
Maybe a child, like maybe an Oni person.
All right. Make a perception check.
$19.
You scan around. You can see the villagers sort of moving in the distance, and there's a swaying to the trees as a breeze rushes through as the sun begins to set, but you don't notice anybody nearby.
Okay. Then I'll go inside the hut.
I go into.
Okay. You all group up together.
So we talked to Stone. He's gathering the townsfolk and the warriors, and we've let him know the situation, and he's gonna try and help us to the best of our ability and protect everyone in the town and hope for the best.
It's one of the kids.
You want to run that by me again, please?
It's one of the kids.
He only
That
pretends to
actually,
be children.
that actually makes perfect sense.
It was disguising itself as one of the children.
Which one?
And how do you know?
Well, it was one of the ones playing ball. There was one that approached us outside the hut, and the same one was in the town later.
In a different direction.
Let's see if we can... Lucius goes outside.
Okay.
Since they said that, approach the child approached them, at the hut or whatever, can he search the ground, see if there's any children feet going in the direction they said that it went?
Yeah, you can search. I'll have you make a survival check. Is everybody else staying inside, or
Coming out.
I assume everybody coming out?
Yeah, probably.
I might need help with this. There's way too many footprints. I can't see anything.
I'll give it
help
a
him
go.
I'll help
I got a
you.
nat 1. I got a nat 1 for the audience. Just let everyone know.
That's good to know.
I see.
I'm also helping.
Please, because apparently no one else can.
And there we go. That's how it's done. I got a 20.
I also got a 20.
So it's
Alex, tell the audience, what did you get?
Nat 1.
2 nat 1s and 2 20s. All right.
This
All
is
right.
great.
You both see the look at the footprints on the ground in front of you, and you follow them for a bit off to the side. They seem to wind sort of away, kind of skirting the outside edges of one of the buildings. You all kind of go around the edge of that. However, there reaches a point where the footprints suddenly stop, as if in mid-stride, just gone. At that moment, you all begin to hear this voice is, and you watch as this white sphere begins to form in the air, and this torrent of blizzard-like cold energy comes hurling towards most of you. So I'm going to say this is going to catch Den, Sadel, and
I'm probably right behind both of them.
And Lil. The three of you are caught in the blast of this cold cone of frost. I need you all to make Constitution saving throws.
21.
7.
20.
20, okay. So that is a success for Den and Lil. So the two of you are going to take half damage. So you both take 20 points of cold damage, which Den, you take half of that because you're resistant.
I do.
Sadel, you take 41 points of cold damage.
How much?
41.
I am unconscious.
Are you still alive? It's not double your max, is it?
Barely. Still alive.
Okay.
Like by a few points, I'm alive.
Okay. You see at this point as this blast of cold energy pummels the side of this building, ice just covers everything, and you see appearing there, shimmering out of the air, this large, muscle-bound entity wearing what appears to be this ragged brown shawl, this cloak, a hood pulled up, blue skin, large, black, sharp fingernails, the length of daggers, white hair streaking off to the side, two glowing, pale yellow eyes, and then a wide, grinned smile with jagged, sharp, broken teeth as the Oni appears before you. And at this point, I will need everyone to roll for initiative. I'll get us on the battle map.
Question. So I assume that the points that I lost last time have been regained, right?
Yes, they have. I'm going to position everyone.
Should I still roll initiative or?
Yes, go and roll for initiative so we'll know what count you make death saving throws on. If it comes to that. The rest of you over here.
I did a dumb and forgot to wait for the map so I could click on my token.
Yeah, I was waiting for that too. I was like,
I are the smarts.
good job.
So I'll say you don't get advantage on the initiative roll because of the
That's fair.
because of the unconsciousness.
Wow, even my initiative is bad today.
I've been fair to middle in everything.
Well, I've had 2 nat 1s this session, so...
However, as this blast of frost energy hits, you see Sadel freeze in place. He's currently frozen, standing there, just an arm stretched out, kind of Han Solo and Carbonite, as he is just coated in frost and not moving. All right, is that everyone's initiative rolls?
I'll just put mine to what it should be. Okay.
Lucius, did you roll investigation?
No, I didn't.
It's...
No.
Why would I do that?
Why would I do that? Man, I got an 8.
Okay. So that will be Barb going first.
Hit it in the face.
You sound super pleased about that.
Radiant the heck out of it.
Sorry, Lucius
Yeah.
is not on the tracker.
Who is it? Lucius?
Mm.
Oh.
Is
Wait.
that better?
Yeah. Just change it back to the 8.
Cool. 8.
And that'll fix it. It's still you going first, though, Barb. What you got?
All right. All right, I'm gonna go do the rage thing. I'm gonna collect my great loot and get all amped up.
All right. So with a thring, there's this echo that echoes throughout this little kind of courtyard area here, and you feel that adrenaline rising as you go into your rage.
Yeah. And I'm gonna go over to it ish,
Okay.
here ish, and I'm stab it in the face.
Okay. Go ahead and make your attacks.
All right, cool. Let's see. I'm gonna do my rage great weapon mastery with my great loot.
Okay.
Stabby McStab stab, which is I do have advantage on that, right?
Are you using your reckless attack?
Yes.
Okay. Then yes, you have advantage on it.
All right, cool. Oh, well, I do a 9.
9. That is not enough as you
Yeah.
come slashing at it. The Oni actually using one clawed hand just grabs the blade and deflects it to the side in the middle of the air, kind of looming over you.
However, can I do radiant?
You can. So at the end of your turn, go ahead and roll your radiant damage.
I got a total of 5.
All right, 5 points of radiant damage.
Nice.
Pretty solid.
I did something, guys. I tried.
All right, that will, however, bring it to the Oni's turn, and since it can't go after won't go after the people that it wants to finish off. However, it will make its attacks against you, Barb, in retaliation. It reaches sort of behind its back and pulls out this massive glaive, very similar to the one you saw on Orchid before, except about twice as big now. Brings down the glaive at you twice. First one is going to hit you with a 20 for 18 points of slashing damage, reduced to 9. And the second one also going to hit for 14, reduced to 7.
Okay.
So
16.
16 total.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That will... Oh, shit. I accidentally X'd out the turn tracker. I'll bring it to Den's turn.
Okay. Saddle's frozen solid.
Yes.
Oh no. I guess I'm gonna try to cure wounds him. I don't really know
Okay.
what else to do. I'll back up next to him and try to cast cure wounds on him.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your healing.
6.
6. Okay. You place a hand on the frozen exterior of Saddle and you send that burst of electricity into him as the... I'm hearing a beeping. Is that on my end or is that... Oh yeah, that's actually my Discord. Never mind. You send the surge of electricity into him as part of the healing magic, and at that point you see the ice on him begin to crack, and then shatters off of him. Sadel suddenly... You find yourself very cold, but standing and alive. Anything else on your turn, Den?
Nope, that's all I got. I'm just gonna stay there.
Okay. Which brings it to Saddle's turn. You are conscious, very cold.
Well,
I also usually make a Constitution saving throw as you come back to consciousness for your
okay.
injury.
A 9.
A 9. Okay. Go ahead and tell me what you're going to do, though.
I am going to back up a lot because ow.
Yeah. You can do that. You're outside of its range.
Yep. Do a little bit of walking back, mostly stumbling because I'm in a lot of pain. And then I'm gonna shoot it.
Okay. 1 second. I'll tell you to make. Wait 1 second before you take your shot. All right. Yeah, go ahead and make your shot.
Natural 20, so 26.
Nice. Yeah, that hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
18 piercing and 6 thunder.
That is nasty. So there is an explosion in this courtyard here as Sadal takes a step back and sends a shot from his thunder cannon rocketing forward, impacting the Oni, who almost staggers backwards from that. What was it? 18 and 6. All right. The Oni goes staggering backwards from that hit, seeming to take a fair amount of damage from that. Anything else for your turn?
Nope.
Okay. Where did that go? So, as you take a step back, though, and take your shot, you do notice that you're having a hard time moving. The force of the ice and everything, you just find yourself sort of like uncontrollably shivering at that moment. The hypothermia starting to set in until the end of your, as part of your injury right now, you have disadvantage on dexterity saving throws. So
Okay.
just remember that. From the hypothermia, and you have 1 injury point. All right, Lucius.
Let's see. Yeah, he's gonna back up a little bit more, probably to behind. Yeah, right about there, and then he's gonna try to rend this creature of doom and death.
Okay, go ahead and make your attack.
20, not natural.
20 hits.
And 2 points of slashing.
2 points.
Yeah, that's it for right now.
Okay, as the bullet hits, the Oni takes staggers back, and then you send that surge of energy, that lashing out with the tendrils of soul threads, and you rip at the flesh of the Oni, the fabric of his shawl or the cloak beginning to fall away. The Oni looking around, kind of showing a bit of blood at this point. All right, that'll bring it to Lilibet's turn. What you got?
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and use the last of, I'm gonna take 10 points of lay on hands on myself, so that'll bring me a little health. And then as a bonus action, I'm gonna go ahead and cast Shield of Faith on myself. And
Okay.
I don't know why that went down so low, so I should have that. And I will run in to here, and that's my turn.
All right, so you heal yourself a bit and then go rushing up to the Oni as the shield of divine energy sort of instills your armor with greater durability. That will end your turn and bring us to Star.
Okay, I am just gonna do a dagger, throwing them at him from where I am.
Okay.
And with those two right next to him, my first one should be a sneak attack.
It should, yes.
So, I'm looking at the wrong bit of my character sheet. I am that smart. 24 to hit on the first one.
Hits.
That is the sneaky one, so that is 8 piercing damage in total.
All right.
And offhand dagger, 19 to hit.
Also hits.
And that is another 3 points of piercing damage.
All right. You send both daggers hurling towards the Oni, both of them sticking into the large body of this creature. Lets out a roar and looking over in your direction, kind of scanning the area. The smile still plastered across its face, but its eyes showing kind of a look of like a cornered creature at this point. All right.
That is my turn.
Okay. That will bring it to Barb again.
All right, Stabby McStab stab again. And I can continue to use my reckless attack like as much as I want, right?
Yeah, as much as you want. Yeah.
Cool. All right, so more stabbins. 14.
14 will not hit.
Okay. 6 points of radiant damage.
6 points of damage. All right. As the pulse of radiant energy sears into the Oni's body, again, it recoils from the light, now having 2 glowing creatures surrounding it. All right, that will bring it to its turn now. It is going to... at this point, you see some of its wounds starting to close up the same way as you saw before. So it heals a bit. And then it is going to... Let's see. It is going to, instead of attacking... Try this again. It's going to look over to Lil and mutter under its breath again, kind of this similar incantation. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
19.
That's a success. So similar to what happened before, where it attempts to beguile you or charm you with its magic, the Oni looks down at you and kind of whispers this incantation. You resist the effect, though, remaining stalwart and vigilant against this creature. That is all it's going to be able to do this turn, though. Den.
Okay, how tall is it?
Close to 10 feet.
10 feet tall. Great. I would like to use my ring, and I would like to fly
Okay.
up in the air.
Okay.
So I'm gonna stay where I am. I'm gonna go straight up. I'm flying. This is so cool. Not too high, so I'm about eye level with it.
Okay. So, like 5 feet off the ground?
About 10 feet off the ground.
10 feet?
Yeah.
Okay. So you get a little bit of like above it.
Yeah,
but...
that's fine. And then let's see. I would like to then I want to use my action to cast Shatter, like above it, sort of across from where I am.
Okay. So at a level where it won't hit your companions. Okay.
And I want to go ahead and use my Channel Divinity on this one and do Destructive Wrath.
All right.
So I do max damage because it's thunder damage.
Okay. So it does a Constitution save?
Mm-hmm.
All right. It does not succeed on its Constitution save
So
throw.
it's 3d8. So I don't know math.
24 points of thunder
so
damage.
it does 24 points of thunder damage on its
Nice.
head.
Yeah.
Because
So
it hurt my friend, and I'm really
there's-
pissed off.
there's this clap of thunder from behind it, and you see the boughs of the trees actually shatter and fall to bits and pieces and mulch across the ground as this reverberation of energy in the air in a sphere behind the Oni just catches it just about near the head. The Oni lets out a screech of pain as this happens, and does not look like it is enjoying itself at that point.
Good.
All right, end of your turn.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, Sadell.
Gonna shoot it again.
Okay.
14.
14 does not hit.
Then I'll be on my way.
Okay, so you take your shot. The Oni just ducks to the side, being wary of you since the last time you hit it. Is able to avoid the strike. That will put it to Lucius's turn.
He is actually going to use the action to release the vapor puppet.
Okay.
So, can the vapor puppet go on this round because it is an action?
It can do anything that doesn't require an action to tell it to do. So, or I think it's use your bonus action.
Bonus action.
Yeah, then you
Yeah.
can yeah.
Well, I was asking because I know it takes me an action to call it.
Yeah.
So I didn't know.
So
Okay,
it's
so
there.
bonus action.
Yeah.
Cool. He's gonna run up. Hopefully that's. Yeah. Okay. And then try to punch it in the face.
Okay. Go ahead and make your
Let's
make
see,
its
where
attack.
is- There he is. And natural 20 for a 25.
Whew. Yeah, go and roll damage on that.
6 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay. So 6 points of damage as the vapor puppet comes rushing up behind the Oni and just clocks it in the back of the head with a thump, as the smoke sort of dissipates, but definitely has a hearty impact to it. The Oni looks back over its shoulder towards the swirling mist of smoky human shape. Yeah, as the finger puppet taunts it. All right. That'll be Lilibet's turn. Unless are you doing anything else?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Would Lucius know if this is a humanoid or not?
Make an intelligence check.
Hmm. 12?
It's probably not a humanoid. You don't know what it might be. It's
Okay.
probably a humanoid.
All right, that's the end of the turn.
Okay. Lilibet.
I'm just going to hit this guy with my warhammer two-handed.
Okay.
And I'm gonna whiff it.
Okay.
And I rolled a 6.
You swing at the Oni, and it, the same as it did to Barb earlier, grabs the warhammer from your hand, or in your hand, and kind of throws your arm back. You hold on to the warhammer, but you're not able to get off a strike this round. Just sort of parry you to the side. All right.
Well, that's disappointing.
But that's it for your turn.
Yep.
Star.
Overall, how healthy is it looking?
It's looking pretty rough.
Okay, I am going to use my cloak to Misty Step.
Okay.
I am going right to that side earlier, which I already measured. It is the full 30 feet, so I get advantage on my attack.
All right.
Actually, another quick question quickly. The advantage on that attack, does that account for spell attack rolls as well?
Yeah, it's any attack.
Cool, because I think this is going to be so much cooler. I'm going to shocking grasp it.
Okay.
teleporting behind it, and I have advantage. Yay, magic! Nat 20.
At 20. All right. Well, that
Fucking-
hits. So,
But I rolled a 19 and a natural 20 on that roll.
wow. Yeah, go and roll damage on that.
8 points of lightning damage.
All right. 8 points of lightning damage as the electricity goes surging through the creature as you reach out and grab it with your lightning-infused hand. Though you can just looking, it's surrounded on all sides, not harried. They're very harried at this moment. Are you staying there, or are you doing anything else?
I am staying there. I can't do anything else this round.
Okay. That'll put it to Barb's turn again.
All right. Maybe this time I can actually, do something. That'd be cool. It'd be super. All right. Raging with greatest of weapon masteries with an 18, please.
That hits.
Thank you. Gosh, Sean.
Like I'm the one that's determining what you're.
It is. It's totally you. You make the DCs here. All right. 17 slashing.
Nice. So you slam into it this time as it's looking back towards Star, just having taken that electrical energy. You are able to connect just in the midsection, driving your great loot into it. The opening lets out a gasp as the blood begins to pour out of its mouth and its stomach as you rip the blade out. It is looking very rough at this point. And then you get your radiant energy as well.
Yes. Radiant of Trace.
3. Okay. All right. So as you square off with the creature, it then gets to take its turn. The Oni begins to heal up a bit more. Still looking rough, but it does heal there. It is going to take its attacks first against Barb there, because you just hit it, and it gets advantage because you used your reckless attack. That is going to hit you, but it does shit damage. So that's 9 reduced to 4 points of slashing damage. It is then going to wheel around, and it is going to strike at... it's going to strike at Star for that lightning bolt. That's going to be a hit against you for 10 points of slashing damage.
Mm-hmm.
And that will end its turn. It's going to take a risk here, and it is actually going to start to try to hover or away out of the reach of all of you. You see the Oni actually take to the air and begin to hover up into the sky. Everybody that is currently around it gets an attack of opportunity.
How do you want this to roll out?
Let's go ahead and do... Okay.
I already just rolled, actually, so...
Okay. Well, Star, you do yours first, then.
19.
Okay. That will hit. 2 damage on that one.
That's 7 piercing.
Okay. Lil, you can go into yours.
18.
That hits.
Here's a question. Can I do Divine Smite on a reaction hit?
I think so. Double check.
It just says when I hit a creature with a melee weapon attack.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and do that after I do my damage.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I get to reroll that.
Okay, then re-roll it.
1d10. Okay, so that's 6 bludgeoning, and then I get to do my divine smite. Where are you, divine smite? I know you're here. And that's at first level. Smite. And that's 12 radiant damage.
All right. Barb, you want to do yours?
My radiant damage.
No, just your attack of opportunity if you want to use it.
Sure. Just regular roll. What I've been doing. Is that cool?
Yeah, because you still get you're still reckless attacking right now, so you still have advantage on your attack, and you can choose if you want to use Great Weapon Master.
Always, yes.
Always. Okay, then yeah, go for it.
17.
That hits.
All right, sweet. 19 slashing, sir.
19 points of slashing damage. All right, and then the Vapor Puppet goes last.
Wait, do I still get my radiant or no?
No, because it's only at the end of your turn. I'm actually trying to
okay.
decide if the Vapor Puppet will even get an attack of opportunity. I'll say yes for now. I'll think about that later.
Cool. 22?
Hits.
Oh. 7 points of bludgeoning.
All right. So, all right. With 27 points of overkill, how would the four of you like to do this?
Yes!
I want to dismember something, obviously.
The Vapor Puppet just grabs a hold of one of the legs. Actually, because it can do the... I forgot what it's called, but it's like wrap around the creature thing. It's going to wrap around the Oni just to block out its sight and just hold it there as much as it can.
Okay.
I jump up, just stab the dagger right into its leg and pull it down.
Okay. So between the Vapor Puppet and Star being to pull it down, Lil and Barb, what are the two of you doing?
So I would assume, for comedic flair, it decided to turn to get away from us since we kind of have it all and that's the biggest space it has to get away. And Lil screams out, "Do unto others as have been done unto you," and slams the Warhammer into the back of the Oni.
Okay. So it's descending to the ground, being pulled down by the Vapor Puppet and by Star. You slam into the back of it, the crack as it falls forward. And as it's falling forward, Barb, what would you like to do?
You said it's falling forward, so it's not still levitating?
It's about at it's at your level right now.
Ah, darn. Okay. Then I guess I'll just cut open its stomach, let its intestines fall out if it has any,
Okay. So as it's falling forward, all of you kind of gripping onto it, being slammed in the back, it goes sprawling out, and at that moment you bring around your great loot, and using the momentum of it currently being hurled forward, you slam into the stomach of the Oni, and then rip the great axe back, sending blood and gore just spraying forward onto the ground. The Oni lets out a and falls down onto the ground as it slowly begins to bleed out onto the dirt and grass around it. There is a brief moment where everything goes quiet, and all you hear echoing from it is that faint humming noise as it sings or hums those last few notes again, and then everything goes quiet.
We did it!
Wow, good job, team. I start flying,
Chop
Okay.
its head off.
which is amazing. I would like to point out. Can I fly up a little bit and kind of survey around, make sure there are no more giant folk or anything frightening looking in this area?
Yeah. You begin to look around and survey the area. You see the dark canopies of the jungle all around you. You see the lights from the village, and you see a number of village folk begin to make it your direction or head your direction. But you don't see any other giant folk or anything specifically moving towards you at this point.
Great.
I'm taking its head off.
Okay. Begin hacking its head off with your daggers.
Lil runs over to Sidel and casts Cure Wounds. Oh, wow. For a whole 7 healing.
Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah, she does the whole, rubs his shoulders to try and warm him up.
With the healing and with the kind of warming, Sadel, you still have the injury level, but you are no longer suffering from hypothermia, so you're okay there.
I'll come back down, I guess. I'm really
Okay.
enjoying flying. I do a couple of loops, and then I come back down.
Did you say anything?
when
Did
you
say anything,
land-
Din?
Nope.
Lil claps.
It's pretty
It's
good.
pretty cool.
I do a little bow type of thing, which for Den is actually very elegant looking. Does anybody else need healing?
I'm perfectly fine.
Okay.
If you wouldn't mind.
I got
I'm
Ow.
pretty sure everyone else.
Anybody else? Raise your hand.
Me, please.
All right.
I'm okay.
I will pass out 2 cure wounds then. 1 for Star and 1 for Barb. Let's see. That's 8 for Star. And 5 for Barb. Sorry, Barb.
Why?
I tried.
Why?
I tried.
What did I do to deserve this?
As you're doing this healing, though, a few of the Tabaxi come rushing around the side. You see them carrying torches and weapons, and you see Stone leading the way. Comes rushing around the building and then stops, surveying the ice across the side of one of them and the dead body on the other. Looks at all of you. What happened?
As we all look up from dismembering this this body.
Well, we found the Oni.
It's not going to be a problem anymore.
Oh, good. So we're safe now. Are there any more of them?
As far as I'm aware, you should be. We haven't seen any signs of other ones around here.
If you hear that song though, that song's a telltale song, whatever that word is.
Bad
Sorry.
news.
Yeah, that's not good. If you hear that song, Sidel, can you hum it for them so they hear it?
I hum it.
Okay. They listen to it, and Stone's like, oh, the song we spoke of earlier. Yes, let's keep an eye out for it.
Well, you can. I think it's safe if you go to where that unfortunate site is. You can give your people and the other villages a proper burial. It's kind of a mess, but you can at least do your proper last rites.
All right, we'll do that. We don't typically allow this, but if you wish to make camp within the city or within the village, you can do so. You've helped us greatly today. We'll dispose of the body and deal with that. Thank you.
Is
How
there
late is it?
anything? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just asking, how late is it? It's what, like a 2-hour trek back to the Treeple place?
Yeah, it's a few hours back there.
Is there anything on the body?
You search the body?
Yeah.
Yeah, patting it down and then looking the body over. The only, other than the cloak it's wearing and a small necklace that appears to be made of like bones and stuff strung together, it has the massive halberd, too big for any of you to wield, but that's about all it's got on it.
Oh. He rips the necklace off. Stone, I don't know if any of these are your people, but at least give it the proper burial.
He takes
They
it.
deserve it.
He takes it and sort of cradles it in his hands and closes them and says, I'll do that. Thank you. Rest, eat. We'll provide you some food. You can recuperate for the evening, and before, if you wish to leave, you can. But if you wish to stay as well, you may.
We will. I think it'd be better if we stayed and rested. Thank you for your hospitality.
It is most welcome and earned by you and your companions. We'll begin, and we'll keep watch for the evening in case. So you all go and rest for the evening.
Wait, before we go back,
Yes.
can I didn't really participate in the hacking apart of the body. Is any of it left?
There's a
It's
torso.
All we took off was the head.
Yeah. The rest of it's still intact.
just making sure. I just want to go look at it really quick. Is this thing like, I don't know, is it clearly like elemental of some sort? I mean, no, it's doing like frost magic, but do I get the impression that it was just like casting spells, or is this like an ice creature or something?
Based on what you've seen, it's not elemental in nature. It's based on the experience you guys have had, it's of giant kind, but it appeared to have some amount of magical capabilities. That's probably more for where the magic came from. I mean, the same as any giant has some akin, or as some giants have kinship to frost. That would be its connection.
Like some connection to like one of the elements.
Distantly, yeah.
Distantly. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stop really quick. I don't know what everyone else is doing. I'm not really gonna say anything. I'm gonna stop really quick, and say a prayer over it. I mean, however distantly Den thinks it might have had a connection to some of the elements, it was still there. So I guess, yeah, so she has a little prayer that she says that's like the prayer of Seraphine's faithful. Wait, I have it, I'll say it. So just quietly, under her breath, she says, "Let me stand watch under Our Lady's gaze, strong as thunder, swift as lightning, and powerful as the gale. Let me wield Our Lady's power, proving my strength, commanding the swirling tempest in her name. Let me shield Our Lady's faithful, the protectors of her realm, and shepherd the lawful into the eye of the storm. And let us use her elements for good." Kind of tack that on to the end.
Okay. As you finish your prayer and the rest of you begin to move back towards the village, the Tabaxi tend to the body and begin to dispose of it. You make your way back to center of town and can set up for your kind of campsite there in relative safety. You're offered some food if you wish to take it, but you mostly rest for the evening and recoup. Let's see.
Before we go to sleep,
Mhm.
sorry, I'm gonna go and sit down next to Sadell, and ask him if he was able to figure out anything about my book. Pretty please. Hey, you warming up?
Yeah, I feel much better.
Well, I don't mean to bother you, and if you haven't figured anything out, that's okay. I know it's been a crazy couple of days, but were you able to take a look at that book I gave you?
Yeah, I was able to sit down with it. Sean, did I find anything?
What were you going to use to look at it?
Well, I had detect magic, and I also have identify that I could cast on it.
Okay. Yeah. I identify either one of those. Well, the identify spell would probably be better suited for something like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And if identify doesn't work, then good old brain power.
Yeah, you can sit down and do that then. So we'll assume the other evening or at some point during your travels, you're able to sit down and look over this tome that Lilibet had given you. Based on what you've been able to find out about it, it's not magical. Whatever is going on with this book is more physical. So, as you cast the identify spell, you're not able to get anything out of it that way. So you appear it might take a more scientific route to decipher.
Okay. And would I have come across anything like this book before?
For that, I'll say go to make a history check.
20.
20. Maybe not exactly like this before, but you've seen things like this and sort of, or you studied ciphers made in this way, that there could be certain chemicals or certain reagents that could be used to activate the paper and cause it to reveal whatever might be hidden, like kind of like invisible ink situation. But what you put on it is sort of a mystery. It's something you'd have to decipher and determine to cause it to be revealed. Could be any number of concoctions or solutions based on, it just depends on what the ink was used. But you imagine the paper's been treated with something to keep it from being written over.
Okay. Well, I took a look at it, and it's nothing magical, but something more like chemicals. I believe I've heard of books like these where they treat the paper after, and when they have written on it, it takes a certain chemical combination, some sort of something like that, to reveal what has been written on it, sort of like a secret message. So you just have to find the right thing to put on the paper.
Okay. I still don't get why Gam Gam gave it to me. But maybe there's something written in it that'll tell me
Maybe?
why. What do you like? I should experiment maybe with wine? I don't know. I mean, what would Gam Gam have? Wine. That's what we all have.
Now that sounds like a plan. Why don't we give it a shot?
Okay.
What about oatcakes?
Oatcakes are for thinking. They're really good for thinking. I don't know if they'll, because they're dry, if they'll react with anything on the page, but I don't know.
So I run back over to my bag and I grab the berry wine, which is the one that does not have any grung skin in it. And I bring it on over and I throw the cork open and say, let's try this one.
Oh, wait, Lilibet, before you do.
Yeah.
And I like grab the wine and I'm examining it because I want to just drink a little bit. And then I give it back to her. I say, okay, just there you go.
It's good, right?
Delicious.
And so, shoot, I don't know. Lil takes like a stick and dips it into the wine and then tries to write on the page.
Okay. Which page?
The very first page.
Okay. And you're just kind of like trailing some over it.
Yeah, like I guess I'm kind of like doing like a squiggly down the whole page to see if anything reacts.
Okay. So you'd kind of squiggle down the page with the wine, and it soaks in places, kind of like this red trail behind it. It sort of soaks into the paper and begins to vanish. And like any time you try to write on it, it's almost absorbed in and then disappears. Right, you're muted.
Well, I take a drink out of the bottle and get the confused face.
Well, I don't know. I know nothing about this stuff. Barb, hand me an oatcake.
As you ask for an oatcake, you look down at the paper again, and you watch as something begins to appear on the page. And a small sort of emblem appears in the very center of it. It looks like a map. Just a small sort of like island chain, and one of them has a mark on it, like a circular dot. I guess a circle, sort of like pushed into the island there. But that's what it looks like.
Does it stay on the page or does it vanish?
It stays on the page.
Oh, it did something! It did something!
Well, I think we found it.
And then I go running over to Den and I'm like, Den, does this look familiar?
It's a book.
No, the island chain thing. You've been at sea? I don't know anything.
Does it look familiar?
I'll have you make a... I think I need some feedback on your mic, Savannah, right now, by the way. If you have your phone near it or something. Okay. We'll look at it later. Anyway, you go to make a check with your navigator's tools using... let's use wisdom for it.
$10.
Okay. It looks kind of familiar, but it could be a number of island chains. You'd have to have like a larger map to kind of take for reference to compare it to.
I mean, it looks so familiar. I would need like like a big map for context. But I mean, it looks like something I've seen before.
Well, this is only the first page. And now that I've drank some of my wine, I'm worried that I should test it with other wine and see if that works or if it's only the family wine.
Yeah.
And she just goes into thinking in her head.
Thank you. I may come back and bother you some more.
All right.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And Lil goes and sits down and like contemplates looking at her wine and like whether she should get other wine, but she doesn't do any more pages and she corks her wine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else do anything before you head off to sleep?
Beforehand, like Lucius watches all of this happen. Lil goes to Den, leaves. As soon as Den leaves, he sits right next to Den. Somebody seems happy.
What?
Somebody seems happy.
I'm fine, thank you.
Wasn't actually talking about you, but
I know.
that's what I was going to ask. It's been a few days since we started on this trip, even fewer. With and he just taps her new arm, for lack of a better term. Since that, how are you really doing?
Fine.
Are you sure? I only ask because you seem a little quieter than what I'm used to. And I know I can't imagine the pain you felt, but I'm really horrible at this. Thank you for doing what you did. You didn't have to, but you're very quick.
No one else is gonna do it.
Well, that is... I don't know if that's true or not, but you did it before anyone else, and I know that must have taken too much courage. So, if you're okay, I will trust you, and I will take your word for it. But if not, I'm here for whatever that matters, even if it's just to listen.
I mean, it hurts. Like, a lot.
Do you still feel it? The pain?
It's kind of weird. Like, I don't feel it. I don't know.
Sean.
Yeah.
I don't know if this will work, and it might just be for like RP elements. Lucius is like very like in tune with soul threads and what makes a creature a creature. Can he somehow like look at this new arm to see if it's actually a part of her or if it's something else? Like if it's connected wrong somehow, if that makes any sense?
Sure. I'll have you make a
I have to be difficult.
I'll say medicine check. I think that's the
Alright.
most appropriate.
Seven.
7. As far as you can tell, it seems like a normal arm. I mean, just looking it over, and I mean, the damage that's been done, whatever it is, it doesn't seem like it's the arm.
Well, from what I can tell, and just again by just looking at it 5 seconds ago, the arm's good. It might be something else though. I don't know medicine. Like I kind of leave that up to you and maybe a little. I'm better at taking things apart than putting them back together. But the arm itself seems fine. Now, is there something else wrong with it? I don't know. I can take another look later though. Just to see.
I don't think it's the arm. But, sometimes I
Well-
wake up and I'm afraid it's going to be gone.
Well, you've already lost it once. It's not. And he kind of stares off for a little bit and goes, I had a comrade back home before all of this who had something very similar happen. Unfortunately, he was not as lucky to receive a new one, but he did always talk about being able to feel it. His was the opposite, though. He woke up hoping that it was there. So, having lost it once and then having it back within 2 minutes, it's not unheard of that you would be frightened of it being taken away. Not to mention, and like she has more tattoos and stuff on her, right? It's not just her arms.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know what they mean. And he kind of just taps one of the tattoos on her other arm. But no one does this for small reasons. Losing whatever was on that probably adds to that hurt.
The one that was on that arm said, in my language, protection. And no offense to your friend and whatever happened to him, but I didn't lose mine. I gave it up.
So did he. But for, I could say similar reasons, but I don't think it applies. Protection is good, though. And if that's what it said, if that's what it meant, you're probably feeling really vulnerable, especially now. You've got all of us, though. I know we're all a bunch of strangers, especially me. But we're here. We've been through quite a lot in our week and a half or so. Actually, more than that now.
It's been a few weeks.
It's been a few weeks. We've been through a lot, so I don't know. I just knew you were quiet. Wanted to check in case someone else didn't.
I mean, it hurts like a bitch, but I'd do it again.
I do not doubt that. You're a little crazy, but in a good way. I'll leave you to it, though. I don't want to take up any more time. Good night. And he just gets up and walks.
Okay. So you all head off to sleep for the evening, resting and recuperating. The evening passes, you wake the next day. Are you heading back to report your business and what happened to the Treeple? And then, okay. So just to sort of speed it along a bit, will you all, the next day as you wake, you bid farewell to the Waterroot village and the children there that you saved. Then make your way back to the meadow where you inform the leader of, oh god, I forgot the name, Uriel.
Yeah,
Uridal. I need to write names that I can say. You inform the leader there that the owning's been taken care of. He tells you, he bids you thank you and informs you that you will always be safe traveling through Farcomer's Pass under the watchful eye of his domain. He bids you that if you ever wish to come back or return, or ever requires aid, that he will gladly help you, so long as you don't chop down any more trees. You then begin setting off towards the City of 1,000 Steps to complete your journey. We're going to go ahead and speed through it now, but we'll talk. What I'll have each of you do is over the next week, if there's anything you wish to do over the next 5 weeks, or say that you've done during the total 7 weeks of travel, we'll talk about it. I know some of you want to learn new languages and do all that sort of stuff, so we can talk about that. We'll do that out of game. So people just send me individual messages or anything you'd wish to work on during that time. However, we're going to kind of skip through the next 5 weeks and pick up after that. So picking up on the other end of that travel, shortly after the summer solstice, about day 26 of Sol, you find yourselves emerging, having traveled through or spent weeks traveling up and through the caldera at the center of Graudar, pushing through this rough, rocky terrain, using Star's guidance to find the paths that the Tabaxi use to make it into the World Child's cradle. There are hidden and secret paths that the Tabaxis have knowledge of that they've shared sparingly with outsiders. You eventually emerge into the cradle and get your first glimpse of the heart of the Tabaxi homeland. After spending a few more weeks journeying downwards into the dense and lush jungle terrain here, this very fertile soil, the trees growing twice the height that they do outside in the jungle surrounding. You come across more small Tabaxi villages where you meet people, become accustomed to their culture, this bartering lifestyle that they have, and are introduced a little bit more to their ways and are sent from village to village, essentially zigzagging your way 2,000 steps. But on Sol 26, you finally emerge from through a clearing in the jungle, and stand before the city itself. Tall and wide stone walls encircle a sprawling metropolis sitting at the base of this caldera. The misshapen stones are not fixed together by mortar, but perfectly stacked at odd angles to fit together like the pieces of a puzzle. Beyond these walls, a sea of thatched roofs of hundreds of wooded stone buildings stretch out for miles, intermittently broken by stone towers and looming jungle trees actually growing within the city. At the center, far beyond miles into the city, again, the city stretches out farther and larger than any you've ever seen. Even the capital of Ivrandal is dwarfed in comparison. You see a massive ziggurat that breaks the surface and climbs hundreds of feet above the tallest structures. The ziggurat's color shifts at every foot from gray stone of the city and eventually culminates in a ruby tier at the pinnacle. It glistens in the now heart of the summer sunlight. You approach the city, you see wagons and hundreds of different caravans of Tabaxi gathered outside, small huts, buildings, all of them gathered in this vibrant community within 1,000 steps. You approach the gates, the Tabaxi giving you excited and strange glances, as they don't seem to spy travelers that often. Being foreigners and strangers in this land, some of them seem to regard you with suspicion. Others actively approach to get a closer look at some of you, especially Den and Lucius. You eventually, after a little bit more travel, about midday, make your way to the massive portcullis, the massive archways that lead into the city. No gates, but just a large entryway where a number of Tabaxis stand as guards there. As you enter, a few of them kind of step forward and stop you, seeming to notice that you are a bit out of place here, most of you, and speaks out in the common tongue sort of broken. Seems to have picked it up, but not too fluent in it. It says, "Travelers, welcome to Thousand Steps. Um, how do you find yourselves here today?"
We are here from Fort Harrington. We have come as emissaries from those from other lands, ones that I myself has visited.
Oh, you are sent from the Northernlands, from the Verandal.
Yes.
Welcome. You are bid to travel to the Garnet Sanctuary. Quickly, we've been warned of your approach.
Proceed inward.
Okay. The Tabaxi lead you into the city. You wind between the buildings, this massive sort of maze of stone and wooden buildings scattered throughout here. Eventually, you're taken over to like a stable where you're loaded into a wagon pulled by a large creature, not an ox, or kind of like similar to an ox or bison, not big and sort of hardy looking, thick horse-like creature, large kind of curved horns around the back. It pulls the wagon in front of you, leading further and deeper into the city. Probably takes you a couple of hours just to make it to the center where the or at the base of the ziggurat, and before you it looms upwards thousands of steps, as the city name would imply, up to its peak.
So, are you impressed yet?
Is the ziggurat bigger than anything in Ondakir? Like even in the main city?
It's as far as like just total size, probably. Height wise, there are towers in there that might reach about the same height or a little bit taller, but just the sheer
size
of it for a single building is probably bigger than anything you've ever seen.
I mean, there are buildings taller than this back home, but nothing is massive in structure and not built like this.
This place is huge.
Do you say that for every city you go in? I'm kidding.
Lucius!
Don't hurt me.
Just you wait. I'll get you. Don't you worry.
The same rules apply here. Just be nice, courteous to everyone you meet. You're just in a bigger environment.
We still have the letter, right? Or the scroll?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
As you approach, though, and you reach the base of it, you see the Tabaxi gathered around here, many of them wearing like robes and formal sort of regalia, these brightly colored sashes and wrappings that dignify them or kind of distinguish them from some of the other Tabaxi around. At the base of the ziggurat, there are some tunnels leading into the structure, and the wagon comes to a halt. You all begin to unload off of it, and you see a brightly colored or brightly garbed grayish brown Tabaxi come approaching. Looks to be sort of an older man. Walks up and says, are you, and he's speaking in common as well, except more, I think, fluent. You're the delegation from Ivlandal, correct?
Correct.
We've been expecting you for some time. So, do you wish to engage in the peace talks or the negotiations with our council?
I mean, that is what we were sent for.
Excellent. Uh, I believe Prince Zavornik is here as well. He is the one that warned us that the Evarandalian delegation should be here. So we are pleased to see to seek further ties between both Evrandal and Ondakir.
You want to say that name one more time, please?
Prince Zavornik?
No. Between you and who?
Ondakir and Evrandal. The Ondakir delegation arrived some weeks ago.
This should be very interesting indeed.
Well, let's just go. I don't think we should keep them waiting any longer.
No, we really shouldn't. Would the name of the prince ring a bell to me?
It would, definitely. Prince Zolvornik. Zolvornik is the name of the monarchy.
Mm-hmm.
The emperor's name. As far as which prince it is, there are two. He hasn't said the first name yet.
Before we go in, the prince. Did you get their first name? Happens.
Yes, sir. Zinstor Zolvornik.
And you recognize that name as being the younger prince, fourth in line to the throne.
Zinstor, fourth in line.
I think I need to double check that, but don't quote me on that. But that's what I believe.
That's cool.
Oh.
Well, we don't want to keep His Highness waiting. He says very, very snarkily, by the way.
Okay.
With all of the snark.
Oh, with all of it.
All right. As you are led into the chamber, into the ziggurat to meet the Ondakir delegation and engage in talks with the Tabaxi, we will go ahead and end our session here for today. Thank you, everybody, for coming out and joining in. We will be back again next week for more fun D&D action. Savannah, do you have any announcements or anything before we do?
Nothing new. But just real quick, thanks everybody who came back this week after a week off, who's been here. There are a few of you out there who've been here with us every week since we started, and that's awesome. We love you guys. Thanks for coming back. And welcome to all of our new viewers that we had today. Thanks for joining us for some D&D. If you like our character art, which you can see on our overlays down there next to our names, and our tokens as well. One of our good friends, Julie, made those for ours. If you'd like more information about her art, when she's doing commissions and that kind of thing, feel free to contact one of us or You Pick Gaming via Twitter or something like that. We can put you in touch with her. If you like our overlays, Sarah made those for us. So if you would like overlays for your cool streaming stuff, please contact Sarah on Twitter. She would love to help you out and hook you up. Let's see, what else do I have in here? If you like our music, all of our music comes from Incompetech. It's royalty free, it's great, it's exciting, it's dramatic. Use it in your own home games. Check out Incompetech. We love it, you'll love it, it's great. We have a link that we're going to post in the chat for the Soul Stitcher class that Kyle is playing. That's a homebrew class that he is play testing, created by our dungeon master, Sean. It is on the DM's Guild. We'll post a link to that. Check it out, read it, like it, rate it, leave comments, all that good stuff. We love feedback. And that's pretty much it. If you like our game and you want to see more excellent, cool gaming content, please follow UPick Gaming on Twitter, here on Twitch, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We actually hit our Twitch follower goal, I think, this past week, which is awesome. And we love all of our wonderful followers out there. We're getting close to our Twitter follower goal and our YouTube subscriber goal as well. You can find those goals on the UPick Gaming Twitter, and when we hit those, we're going to be doing a dice giveaway. So go press the buttons, like, subscribe, share with your friends, tell them to like stuff too, and you can win some cool dice. So yeah.
All right. Also, coming up soon, I don't know if it's already been decided. I know that we are going to be doing some follower one-shots. So if you are interested in participating in one of those and wish to go ahead and spend some of your Electrum and Revelo stuff before Revelo vanishes from the face of the earth, make sure you go and spend those to get entered in our follower one shot, or go on Twitter and look for information on that to be coming up soon. Otherwise, I think that's all the announcement we've got. Like I said, be back here again next week, same time, same place, same wonderful people. But until then, good night, Internet.
Good night,
Night,
Internet.
Internet.